for U.S. equities right across the board, looking pretty good. In fact, for the SPY was almost down 0.5% at one point this afternoon. We'll pull up the sector board here and have a look at a much improved board to start things off. I was going to show you the actual ticker board here, but here we go. This is a better look anyways. Energy stocks leading the way right now. Oil back to the downside after 2 or 3 days of chop, you could say, for energy markets. Marathon leading the way, Apache, COP, all down more than 5% at this point this afternoon as crude comes back under pressure. Caterpillar, not a good day, 3.8% to the downside. Overall, though, industrial stocks about break even with Deere, GNRC on a short report, and Caterpillar back in the red. Material stocks, we were talking a little bit about the material sector in general this morning, back under pressure as well, along with the energy group today after leading or being among the leaders in positive territory over the past few days. FCX down 6% today. Yeah, there's Mo, Altria still about 10% in the red after that note this morning from the FDA. If you missed it, their Juul product, the vape product, being removed from U.S. retail shelves. Netflix having quite the bounce day, 5.5% back in positive territory. Tech shares back to the upside. Healthcare stocks as well, looking pretty good. I was going to mention Etsy here because Etsy and Netflix, I saw a note today at lunchtime, Etsy and Netflix of the S&P 500 among the worst performers on the year. So both of them, interestingly enough, up 4 and 5.5% on the day today. So some of the retailers showing a little bit of strength. Anyway, hope your afternoon as well. We are looking at a positive market overall after Fed Chair Powell leaves the stage, says everything he's, I guess, supposed to say at this point. There were a couple of notes, though, that were a little bit of surprise. We'll get into that coming up here. We'll also talk a little bit about some of the opportunities we had this morning to trade at the open. Make sure you join us every single day. 8:30 we come on. We get you ready for the open at 9:30. And then it's all up to you. Let's jump into the first one here. Sean's going to lead the way today, talking about, what a move for Meta today.
Hey guys, it's your trade of the day, and it's Meta. I mean, look at this move that Meta did yesterday, an absolute destruction of a day. Started at about that 166, 167 there, and then finishes the day down, low, down into 157, which we've highlighted. This line across here, 157, this support line or resistance line up here, 160. So let's talk about why we like the trade. Yesterday afternoon, at 3 o'clock. It was about 3:30, 3:40. I think it might have even been a little bit later. So into the close, right into here. I said I like Meta for a swing trade long today, right? So let's see how that turned out. The reason why we liked it long, look at this little area that I highlighted right here. This was the only time that it spent below 157 yesterday. It was just in the chaos, volume kind of still strong here, came back in, spent, like this is a 3-minute candle, so or a 3-minute chart, so spend about let's call it 15, 20 minutes below that level. So I was like, you know what? Let's see what we come up with today. Then into the close. Look what happened into the close yesterday. Pretty much bar-coded. It's like, why didn't it continue to go down there? Like why was 156 so important here that it held? Well, then you come in today and look, we made the swing call yesterday, close, right? So when we came in today, it was below. So you're down about $2 here. It goes down to 154, but then it just holds again 154. So we were like, okay, maybe this is something. Then the NASDAQ and the market started to sort of inch back up. And this was the thought. It's just that if the NASDAQ was going to be strong, we thought that Meta on this drop down here yesterday and supporting that 156 bottom there was something about that, right? And so today, we should have punched long 156 when it broke there. I know there's a few traders in our chat there on the morning that were saying 155.50, 156, that's great. For me, I wanted to wait until we got into this area, 157. That's where we started to execute the trade. So real early, we got long in here, 157. The first take is 157.50. Then it just started to blow up to the upside here, getting some out 158s, getting some out here 159, reloading it too on the dip back down. Remember, like all of these dip buys, if we're going to look at this seriously, it's off of big moves. So a big move down, buy, right? Another big move down, buy. Another one, buy. So we're not really, we are scalping it, but we're trying to get specific prices. On any flush down, we know that Meta has some kind of strength here at this 157 to buy it, right? Even when the NASDAQ turned red here on the day, came all the way back down, we just sat in there, said buy again, 158 long, right? You're now at 159.25. We still have a piece on. We still have half of our position on. I think Meta, especially into the close here, why can't we go back and test this 160, let alone this 160.50 high? So I'm long Meta here. And again, the reason why, it's not on the sticky note today, but we definitely looked at it early. This is 9:30, like 9:30, 9:33, something like that, where we actually get in and we're like, enough is enough. I think actually one of those is the pre-market. We like that 157 level. And let's just think about why again. Big move down, and then it stopped at 157. So we noticed that that was a little bit of a dip area. So if we were to lose on our position, we would have had to get out here at a 156 break. So about $1 worth of risk. We've taken much more of that out of the market right now. And in fact, we're long at 158 flat. Look, it's a 3-minute chart, but I think it was 1 or 2 minutes. This thing rips all the way back up and we take 50 cents. Now, as it goes to 159.60, you can see here on the screen, we're $1.70 in the money on this trade. So far so good here. Meta looks like it wants to keep going northbound today.
Back to highs, working back to highs as we speak for Apple, Microsoft following suit here. All were on the watch list this morning, guys. Make sure you grab the watch list absolutely free every single morning. Had a bit of a technical issue past couple of days. Everything has been resolved, so you can use that link once again, working perfectly for you every single day. A couple things of note. Here is the first one, wanted to mention. Franchise Group considering lowering their Kohl's bid to closer to $50 versus where it was. That's coming from CNBC right now. So big spike to the downside there for KSS shares. So we'll talk about Kohl's coming up here. I wanted to show you this as well. This is a look at the overall market. Nicely positive for all three U.S. equities right now, 0.8, 0.4, 0.6. Well off the lows that we saw early on. If you remember, we were dealing with Powell this morning. He said a few things that were interesting. One of them was, when asked by a congressperson, I guess it was, whether or not they would consider a full 100 basis point move for the next July meeting, he said something to the effect of, nothing is off the table. So that kind of moved the market back to the downside. Here's a look at Kohl's, guys, right now. 41 back to 37.50. Again, they're lowering the bid to $50. We're trading at 37, but that just popped up right now, guys.
KSS, yeah, lots of stuff. So Kohl's back in the news. One thing I want to talk about, welcome back, Arun. Thanks for doing this again. My main man, Neil, on vacay today. Enjoy your day, man. It's only feeling like 35 degrees. I know you're just outside. What's it like?
It's hot.
It's hot. Okay, so shout out to Neil on that one. And guys, I don't normally do this, but I just tweeted it out. We could do it. I wasn't on the show. So we just stepped into Revlon calls at $10. It's already 35% in the money. This trade for me. So there goes, that's Meta. Meta's nicely in the money too. That's going to the upside here. But here's Revlon, man. We just stepped into these right here. It was bouncing off of the 50 period right there. We stepped into Revlon calls on our own account, in our swing trade account. And yeah, up in the money already, 38, I just checked, 38% now in the money on these Revlon calls. So yeah, I mean, so far so good here. Let's see where we go. I mean, the thing about it is, we stopped at 10. I took $10 calls, so we'll see where we can. There we go. Let's keep going to the other. I may just get out of these today, like before the end of the show there. So just letting you guys know that I'm already in. I don't think there's any problems with me getting out if I say that on the show, but we will be able to hopefully take this out. Revlon right now moving back nicely to the upside. So far so good on this position. Let's see where we go from here. We also did take I mean, look what we're doing today. Let's just go hot dogs, man. I know it was jerk chicken for lunch. That wasn't too bad. I had that salad.
That was not jerk chicken.
I know that you hit it. It wasn't spicy at all, right?
That was not jerk chicken.
That was not jerk chicken, agreed. But there it is, man. Twitter on the upside as well. We just put that bad boy on. So, a lot of not complaints, but people talking about that midday show. Well, I'm here to trade, and there's another one that we just put on right there. So we have Meta nicely in the money. We just put on another Philip Morris trade down here. You can see this is starting to work out for us as well. Maybe we get a little bit of a bump up here. I thought I was trying to get some out. Yes, I am. Just before 50 here on MO, so hopefully that can come out now. Even now is not a bad take for me on this. 20 cents in the money. Multiple reloads down here on Philip Morris. So I think this is a good spot for me to take something out as we'll watch Revlon and we'll watch Philip Morris and we'll talk about KSS.
Yeah, even though the board says I don't have a position, I still have two positions. Two of the three positions from this morning I'm still carrying. I'm not sure why the board hasn't updated. Maybe I've got to take a fill. We'll do that at some point. But for now, the only position, remember we had PG long, Nike long, and Apple long when the show ended. I've still got Apple, by the way. Apple long down here, 133.52. We've got some out in front of 135, and now we're still sitting on the rest of this. So this is about $3.20 in the money as of right now. With the futures breaking out the new highs, I'm not touching Apple. We're going to leave this be. The other one was PG. This is the one that we got flat on. We went long 137, 136 stop. Got some out in front of 138.50 and the final target 139. Now it's still going, but I'm okay getting away, walking away from PG at this point. And the third one was Nike. Nike's the only one that's actually not working out. It's 40 cents out right now, but we went long right here, 106.50. Looking for a move towards 109. It bounced all the way down to 105, and now it's moving back up. You guys can barely see that chart, but it's bouncing back up. With the futures moving, we should get back in the money on Nike. That's about it. Those are the only three positions I've worked with all day today, and of them, I'm still carrying two of them, as the futures is now above 3,800, coming back in a little bit, but at least we got above 3,800. And this is going to be really telling. If this market can get above 3,800 and stay above and trade above, we have a chance to get into the zone here that I would want to work with to potentially fade this. But that zone is going to be 38.20 going on up to 38.55. So we are still about 20 points away from getting into that zone. Before now, this 3,800 is going to have to do and see how this market wants to react around here. Because if we fail and we come back into the 90s immediately, odds are we're probably going to go back down to 60. But if we can get above and stay, I think we have a chance of getting to that zone here that we can potentially work with. It may run out of time today, but definitely an area that I'm probably going to give you guys tomorrow when I come on to give you guys futures levels. That 38.55 is definitely one to work with.
Big moves here, guys, for a couple of names right now. Netflix, first off, 6%, big volume spike up to 183 here. Comcast, or NBC, which is owned by Comcast, and Google said to be the front runners for an ad-supported tier, or to aid with an ad-supported tier for Netflix. So Netflix to the upside here, about 6% right now. Heavy volume coming into, can we go to that real quick there? Thank you, Fawn. Netflix goes up, comes right back down. Wanted to show you this as well. Roku coming off sharply on that news. So again, NBC, so Comcast, and Google said to be front runners in an, or to aid Netflix with an ad-supported model. So Netflix, a big move there, guys.
I like that. I mean, I was wondering where the activist action is here on Netflix. I mean, this is a company that makes money. They're a company that's been getting absolutely killed. And I feel like they just need some sort of a revamp of a situation there. We did talk about the ad-supported model. I like that model. I mean, there's such an untapped, and I know some people won't. We've gone back and forth on this. I know Bill Ackman was involved in this name as well. So am I now. So, you know, I'm not throwing around that kind of money to make a difference. But I bought this name at 170. I'm pretty sure, I mean, everyone that's watched this knows that I'm now in Netflix for the very first time in my account. And yeah, I like this 170 level right here, just that it's holding. I mean, really the bottom is at 163. Look, in a market like India, a market like even just big markets in Brazil, so on and so forth, that have, you know, tons of people, population ready to rock and roll that might not have the disposable income that Netflix requires, right? And I know for us, maybe here in North America, it's not, I'll just change this over to a minute chart here. It's not a super expensive venture to grab a Netflix subscription, but I think it's up to like, I don't know, I think it's $18.99 or it could even be more. This is how stupid I am. Like, I just give the credit cards, bill it every month, right? But, and I'm sure that's like a lot of us. And I think that's the benefit of Netflix is that, you know, you set it and you forget it because you continue to watch Netflix. I like it. I was actually saying this to my wife last night. I mean, you have Netflix.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So, you know, Ozark is new now. A new season of Ozark, a new season of Stranger Things. There's a couple decent comedy things on there. I was watching the Snoop Dogg thing. I know there's a Pete Davidson one. There's a Bill Burr comedy special that's on there now. I don't know about if there's any recent movies. There's a Hustler movie there from Adam Sandler with, I think he's a basketball.
That was actually good. That was a good movie.
That's
Yeah,
what I was going to say. So
movie.
that's the next one, ready to watch. So, and look, whatever you think about Squid Game, how ridiculous it is or not, when they come with season 2 on Squid Game or whatever they're going to do, apparently they're going to do real life Squid Game. Did you hear about that? We're volunteering Prad for that one.
Yes,
It's $4.36 million at the end of it. They're going to have 436 contestants, so similar to the show. And I don't know exactly the premises of it, but there's going to be a real life, like a real game show, Squid Game, and season 2 coming out. So look, it's going to sound like I'm talking up Netflix here, which I am. I just wonder, is it overdone to the downside? I feel like a lot, before you step in and want to buy this name, it's just let's maybe wait for one more earnings report, see what they're doing. It was the first time ever that Netflix lost subscribers last quarter. So they lost subscribers for the first time ever. That's not a good thing. But I really think that, honestly, now that we can look at some levels here, I mean, I like that ad-supported model. If they're going to get the big dogs in there, Google, you mentioned a few other names there, Paramount, I believe, some good quality names, maybe not Paramount, doesn't make any sense, but some big quality names coming in on the advertising side. I like it. I think that opens up a lot of doors. So for me, I remain pretty bullish on Netflix, especially the fact that it's down 60-something% year to date.
Netflix is, as much as people may complain and you have other alternatives, they're all very different, right? Disney has its own set of shows, and I personally don't have a Disney account. I know you do, Sean. You have kids, right?
Yeah.
More often than not, unless you're a Star Wars fan, unless you're a Marvel fan, huge Marvel fan, or you got kids, you're probably not going to lean directly towards Disney right away. So Netflix is going to be the initial go-to. Paramount, especially in Canada, I don't think we have Paramount yet. Paramount Plus.
No.
So it hasn't really caught on everywhere just yet. I'm sure NBC is going to, as soon as they get their Peacock up and running worldwide, or at least in Canada at the very least, I'm sure they're going to start pulling a lot of their shows because they have a ton of good shows. So that should be an interesting one when they do that. But for now, Netflix is the big dog. Yeah, they lost some subscribers, but the way Netflix has been moving around since then allows for great trading, and even better yet, look at that in the last couple of days, off this 166, 165 double bottom. Now we're at the top end of the range. All Netflix has to do, and this is a 30-minute chart, by the way, all Netflix has to do is get above this. This is the consolidation point from the 10th. That kind of gives you a nice little box out, or a breakaway trade back to the upside. You do then have to deal with the 190s, but at least from the mid 180s to 190s, and then that's a whole different story above 200 and 210. But at least for the time being, the initial move is going to be a little consolidation range here between this 10th top end range here around that 185, 186, and the bottom of 164, it looks like. So we're just going to bounce around here until we get a breakout. And I think that's a great way to look at range trading. And remember, even with range trading, when you get a breakout, only if it has space will it ever go. And Netflix doesn't really have the best of spaces, but as soon as we get above 196, we're probably going to run into resistance in the mid 190s. So you do have to be aware of that, but at the very least, this allows for an opportunity to range trade this while it's still inside this range.
Before we go back to Brendan, I just want to say that was funny because failed breakout trading, that's the exact same thing that my 10-year-old said to me as well about that when I told him about, because he wants to watch Squid Game, but obviously I'm telling him absolutely not. So he tells me that, yeah, he's watched the Mr. Beast Squid Game thing. So Mr. Beast, again, I think he's approaching 100 million subscribers on YouTube. So definitely, fanboying.
So yeah, I guess he gave away money to
yeah,
contestants?
no, he's. So I don't know how he did it, but he's very, very much into giving away money. So I figured that it has to be something like that. But yeah, shout out to Mr. Beast and shout out to Trader Prad, who is going to join that Squid Game on Netflix. So I'm really happy. I'm really happy about that one. It'll suck for the show because we'll miss him, but I think we'll. Yeah, I think we will. I think it'll be a lot of fun to see Pratt on Squid Game, guys.
It'd be hilarious to see Pratt on Squid Games. The only reason I really say this is because he admitted to the fact that he doesn't know his west from east coast, left from right. His
Squid Game, bro.
You need to know directions, though. You don't need to need directions?
What have I done here? He's talking about, he doesn't have his mic on, but he's talking about being able to do that cookie one.
He wants to
there,
lick
where
a
you do
cookie
it.
until in the shape of an umbrella. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's
My whole problem is I don't know if Pratt is agile enough for that first one where they're starting to shoot people when it's the red light, green light. I'm not sure.
I
I'm
mean,
not sure.
he's a gamer, so I believe he
Oh,
has
yeah, that's
enough
right. He has the
reaction time for
gamer
that.
side of
yeah.
it.
So I
There
think
he is. There
I
he
think
is.
he'll survive the first
Got
one.
that
After
target on him today with that red shirt, though. I don't know. He looks one of those matadors in Spain there. I know you're traveling soon, so shout out to Arun. Okay, Brendan, let the show go on, my friend.
Yeah, why don't we? A few other things to discuss here this afternoon. I was just watching Roku, guys, trying to get back to highs here after that spike to the downside on that Netflix headline, but a ton of volume coming back in on the buy side now for Roku. Speaking of buy side, let me pull this over and show you. Crude oil right back to day highs. Now down 2%. Remember, that was down, what was it, 7.5% at one point this morning, but crude back to highs about 9 minutes or so to go in the pit session for oil before that day wraps up. But oil stocks, guys, gap down as a group and then do nothing but rally all day long.
Speak of the devil. I was going to talk about oil next. So we did have XOM there, and I did notice it on the board. So right now, XOM here, this was a short that we had up here, man, and we only got out half when it came back down, and then I was just like getting so greedy when it went down here to 88. So we basically stared $1.50 in the face there. Whoops, we don't need that ellipse. I got to get off of that. We stared $8.50 there, $1.50 in the face when it came back down on that short. We just say, hey, right now, let's reload that short. We just did that right here at 50, like literally just now at 50. So that's a good reload for us. As Brendan is right, we are getting ready to close out here on the pit. So you see oil right now up. I mean, it's not up, but up on the day, greatly up on the day. When Arun and I took the stage here at 8:30, we were going back and forth. It was down 5.5%. It was down 6.5%. I believe we might have even touched down 7% when we got to 101.50. But what a move back up to the upside there. And I even said it when oil was down, and I was like, so the only reason oil's down is because they're giving some sort of a holiday on buying gas. Like, that doesn't have anything to do with oil. That has nothing to do with supply, demand. I mean, it's going to increase demand. People are going to run out there to buy more of it. But when oil's in demand, the price of it should go up. So for me, I had a hard time trying to figure that one out. But look at that. You know what, man? I'm definitely, to take something away from Neil here, I know he probably looks at too many gift horses, but we're going to put a bid out here at 13. We just took this trade right now. It just went back to the 50 period. So I'll sit there at at 13. Watch, we missed it probably. Let's see if it comes back down. But right there, right away, I like the short off 90 here today. We talked about that earlier, why that was a key price for us. It goes back up here, 89, 79. It's all over the sticky note, literally talking about 90. So we'll see if that can hold right now. But a nice little move back down hitting for XOM. I like the stock, but I'm not sure I like the momentum here in oil. We still are up on our ZEO position, which is similar to XLE. So I do like that, but if it's hard to look at XLE right now and really be favored of that position. It's made. Where's my daily chart? It's made a nice move downside here, as you can see. XLE definitely getting cracked. There it is. XOM, yeah, belly dance that out. We just got out of that one. XLE resisting the 70. Watch out for that little bit of a bottom there, but here it is right now. There's our XOM trade. We just got to 13 fills, so hey, it doesn't get much smoother than that, man. These are 2-minute candles. So in 2 minutes, we go from 50 short, which we took on. We have 47s. You can see it right now. Into that 89.11. So we just take a smooth 30 cents. And all we're really doing now, man, is lining up the pins and bowling these names down. I mean, it's been a good day for us here today. Don't mean to brag or anything like that, but all of our calls today have been pretty good. Neo short was a good one as well, but I know you have the oil futures up.
Yeah.
I don't know if we see that 125 again. I thought maybe we would top out at 135.
Overall? Yeah, I'm not sure about the overall. We kind of like topped out around the north of 120. But I'm looking, remember earlier this morning I said between 220 and 230 when oil decides to close, that's when you get a lot of activity because a lot of program they just activate and they just go in one direction. Well, you're seeing that start to happen now as crude fell from 107.20 all the way down to 106.40, now bouncing back up. We're going to keep this up, but this thing is going to get hot because it's got about 6 minutes left, and it's had quite the day today. So you know there's going to be a lot of activity here coming on board. Kenneth, thank you for your second super chat. I was meaning to get to your first one, and I never got to it. Where can you get my levels? 9 a.m. Eastern time, 9 a.m. here on the show. I come on and give you guys levels of my futures levels, my ES futures levels every morning, mostly every morning. Yeah, every morning that I'm available, I come on and give you guys the levels. So tune in 9 a.m. and on this same show here, and you guys can get the levels. I really don't do anything outside of this show, kind of just trade. So only place you're going to see me and only place you're going to get the levels are going to be on the show whenever I come on. Now, somebody else was asking, what was they? Actually, no, futures. We'll go back to the futures just because of what they did north of 3,800. They are starting to stall out here since we're on the topic of futures. They are starting to stall out north of 3,800. Like I said, this is going to be telling. If we back off from these 3,800s back into the 90s, it becomes a problem because we have a zone, sell side zone sitting right above it. So if we back off, then we probably will see 60 again. If we kind of just take our time with it and then slowly work our way back to 3,800, that's perfectly fine. That's expected. But this 3,800 is going to be telling because, one, it's a round number, it brings a lot of activity. And two, for a lot of people, they're not going to put it all the way back up here at 38.55 or 38.50. They're probably going to use 3,800 because of the fact that it's a round number, right? So it brings a lot of interest around these prices. And crude is closing. So some of these crude stocks that are in the S&P could be moving in the same direction well, they could all be moving in the same direction just enough to get the S&P to move just a shade, right? They don't have enough weight, but they can still move it just a shade a little bit. As crude now falls, here we go. Crude now making another move from these 80s down to 50. That's not much. Usually crude starts to move at $1 or $2 at these points, but keep in mind, about 4 minutes or so, this should get quite hot into the end here. Just keep an eye on this going into the end. Still shows I'm flat. I got to do something about this. Maybe I will take a position, a small position in something, just so I can
punching it out.
Yeah, but then I got into a conversation with Lucas about this. He's like, just punching it out. I'm like, well, I don't want to waste money like that.
Is that how I sound when I say that too? Like, don't.
No. That's
okay,
Lucas.
Good. That's Lucas. Okay. But I understand why you don't want to do it. It's like not a personal. It's just you don't want the loss on the board, whatever you call that, because it's going to look like you got in and out of something, right? So.
Well, not even just that. I just don't want to do it.
Punching in and out of Apple. Oh no, because you know, change your Apple price. Anyways, whatever. You'll get into a trade.
I'll figure it out.
All right. That was oil there, Brendo.
All right. Let's talk about some tech stocks here. We were downside for the most part throughout the morning after the initial move to the upside. I was just having a look at Apple here, guys. Only 0.5% here. I mean, about the same as the market, but I mean, it feels more like these are struggling versus the overall market as we get back into the bottom end of the range on this, I guess, slow and painful grind to the downside for some of these.
Okay, right now the only thing slow and painful is what the heck is happening with oil right now back in to that downside here as it's starting to fall back down. That was a great reload up there. So we'll see now. I want to hold oil, so we're going to see if this one makes its way all the way back down to the downside right now for XOM. But big tech, a short. Yeah, I mean, it could be. Here's the NASDAQ here, the triple Qs. It always seems like we have that one or two big monster day, similar to what we had yesterday, although it wasn't a monster. At some points, we were up that 3%. You could see what kind of a day we had yesterday just on the 20-minute chart. So it was a monster move back up here. Where's the 21st? Here it is. So today's the 22nd, so here it is right here. You start at 277, a nice move up to 284. At one point, we were up over 3% in tech before selling off a little bit into the close. And I believe being up like, what was it, almost 2%, something like that yesterday on the NASDAQ around the close. And then a big dip down, and then the rally continued. So for me, I'm actually really happy and surprised that you get that extra percent today to the upside on the NASDAQ. Normally these big rallies, like here's a rally, right? And then look at this sell-off down there, right? You get the Fed coming in here on the 15th. But, you know, big rallies have been sold off here on the NASDAQ. So for me, I'm really excited that we now have possibly 1, 2, and 3 days in a row possibly to the upside right now. So let's see if that can hold form. And again, big moves up, like a 1, 2, 3 days. Sell off, right? So 1, 2, 3. Let's see if we retest some of these lows of 270 here on the triple Qs. So that would be really bad because then we're starting to make new lows off of another attempted rally. But, you know, so far so good here. I'm pretty happy. For me, the number one stock and the biggest in all of tech is Apple. But for me, I like Google. And I think that you're going to have Google. We did a couple videos last week or the week before there on, for some reason, I'm getting like, maybe I've just said too many words today. Like there's a certain amount of words that I have before my head blows up. But right now, Google, I think is one of the better ideas because remember what you have coming for Google, right? You do have the, I was gonna say the imbalances, obviously not the imbalances coming. With Google, you do have the split coming in July. So that's enough to probably rally the stock. We saw Amazon rip up to the upside on their, I'm gonna call Amazon up right here, on their split, just so you guys can see the kind of action that happened on the Amazon split. So if you go right here, this was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or so days heading into the split here for Amazon. Then it splits, tops out, makes a doji star there at 128, 130. We actually had 129 short, and then all the way back to the downside there, down in. So I feel like Google could base out like this again. And for me right now, this is what it's doing. It's basing out at 2100. Let's see if it gets that bump above the 50 period and then higher. This is one of the tech names. I haven't bought anything the last couple weeks, but you know, if we do get that possible downside move, which has followed these upsides, then I think I want to be sitting there hands open with Google, taking some more shares. So for me, the tech short may still be in, but I like Google for the long.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to get involved in any of these names unless they're trading in the range, like I said, with Amazon. Actually, maybe I'll just go over Amazon. Amazon, I was talking about earlier, north of that 112. It's at the top end of the range, and you're going to start to see this in a lot of names. If they're at the top end of the range, probably want to work with the short side, right? It's not a matter of, do I want to go for this because it's a short? No, it's just because this happens to be at the top end of the range. And if this is a tech name, a big tech name, and it's at the top end of the range, the path of least resistance is going to be to the downside, right? So if they get through this 112, then automatically in about $2, you're flipping REITs. So it's a consolidation range until it's not. And then when it's not, you just go for the long. So for now, it looks like it could potentially be a short, but it only takes $2 on Amazon to turn this into a long and a breakout. So that's what I'm looking at now. It just so happens this one's set up. Not all of them are like this. Remember, Apple was a long for us today.
Yeah.
So they're not all right here, which the ones that are setting up like this, those are going to be the ones that you go for on the short side because you're playing a range, not because the market's doing its thing, but just because of where it's positioned. All
right, Twitter was making some moves during lunch hour this afternoon. I'll give you an idea as to why. Shopify teaming up with Twitter to launch 100 new tools in an effort to boost productivity for creators on Twitter and boost or monetize, I guess, some of the content being created for Twitter. They also announced, which I'm very curious about, this Twitter Notes. Guys, which is going to be essentially a drop down, it would appear. So you can send a tweet and it'll have a drop down where you'll be able to add a whole bunch more content, not limited to whatever it is right now, the character limitation. You'll be able to post a press release or something a little bit longer format in the drop down for Twitter Notes. So kind of a cool idea, but it's interesting how, Elon circling with the buyout. And now Twitter starts to come out with these ways to monetize.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be a monetized? Oh, the advertising. Yeah. I mean, I love that drop down thing. I mean, I even find, even when I'm doing the sticky note, that, you know, there's just so much more we want to say, but I like keeping it concise anyways. So I think that's a great idea, adding some more characters. Why are you even limited in the first place? I mean, that kind of seems ridiculous. I remember when Twitter used to be like 60 characters or something. Then they upped it to whatever it is now, 140. And I get it, man. Like, you don't want to read everything. You like the sort of the condensed notes. So I like that, but then if you want to drop it down, I think, Brendan, I think that's a fantastic idea. Not only that, but we are also made a fantastic amount of money on that idea as well, as there it is right here coming in to this trade. So we actually we went long 39. We got out 39.35 was the high. We still are in a piece of this, but we definitely got out of 2/3 of this trade, especially when it started ticking high like that. So that was a good one for me to that upside. I think I like Twitter down here. Obviously, all the talk from Elon and so on and so forth doesn't really bode well for all the nonsense back and forth for that. But let's see if it breaks through VWAP there. That's good news for Twitter, whether or not the buyout is accepted or not. I think that's, you know, positive, more advertising. But the thing is like monetizing this. I feel like they had like Twitter Spaces and they had a tipping thing that they were thinking about doing. So I don't know. I just don't know if people use Twitter in that format, but we're going to see. I think Elon buying this out is a great thing, but again, it's going to take it private, right? So you're not going to be able to invest in Twitter unless you get the shares now and then get taken out at 54.10. There's something wrong with that price. It wouldn't be at 39 if people really thought that 54.20 was a thing. So we'll wait to see where Twitter goes, but I like the spot, and honestly, we hit this long really nicely, so we can afford to lose 10 cents if it takes out VWAP. So just to make sure that I have this order out there, 38.90 break, we're gone on Twitter, even though the real VWAP is 38.95 here. We'll see what happens with that one. And then just quickly, I know we are on Twitter there, but Meta. So Meta does touch 160. We again, you know, stared down this long 158. It was in the money at $1.80 when we were doing that trade of the day. But if we break below this 158.70 here, we're gone. Remember, I don't like to be long anything if we're below this 50 period on the NASDAQ. Sometimes I get caught and I am long stuff when that happens, and that's if there's a major key level. Unfortunately, this 158, I like that 158. We talked about that on Meta, but the real level that I'm looking at is 157, yesterday's area. So, you know, if that does dump down, and here's a nice little bump back up for us, so I don't want to get out. I just want to make sure that if we violate back in here, 158.80 or so, then I'll get out of Meta. But a nice little bump back upside, man. We're $1.20 in the money. Hard to complain on this trade.
Yeah, no, there's very little for a guy who doesn't have the social media platform to actually talk about it. I mean, the stock is fairly limited to the upside. It's a day trader's dream, I would imagine, but for someone who's trying to position up, it's probably not the best stock. So I kind of put Twitter to the side. I haven't really looked at it. For anyone who doesn't know, I don't have any social media at all. So there's no Instagram or Twitter or whatever. So you can't really find me anywhere else. And for me, Twitter is just another name that was great to trade, and now not necessarily because it's so capped, right? If we were to look at the chart of Twitter, it's capped by that 54.20 upside. It's gone into this box of a range here. The bottom seems to be around 37, and that's not even a clean 37, because then if you were to go below 37, going back into mid-May, you got 36, 35, 50. It's a mess. So I just try to stay away from this. It's not the best of setups. There's other names out there, but of course, if you're trying to go for that, hey, it's going to close at 54.20 or 54.10, whatever the price is, and you want to make a play for that, that's a different type of trade than trying to trade this intraday. And for me, no go on Twitter.
We just had a short there, a halt there, Brendan. PEV. If we wanted to go over that story quickly, but this was a name that started to go. This is Phoenix Motors, I believe. PEV. Yeah, Phoenix Motor Inc. Motoring today up 105%. Doesn't take much to get halted. Obviously, this is going to be a volatility halt all the way back in. But look where it stopped at. I mean, it doesn't have a choice but to stop here because it is a volatility halt. But you're going to see right there, stops right at 7 flat. It looks like it's going to open 652. Just wanted to get that to you before we moved on there, Brendo.
Note as well. Yeah, I was kind of expecting that to be an offering, but I don't see one. And the reason I say that is because it's 2.1 million shares in the float of PEV. So teeny tiny. There was a note on Nikola. U.S. files suspending its indictment against Nikola Corp founder Trevor Milton. The actual stock not moving on that, but interesting note. REV, not PEV, but REV, also on watch this morning, doing all kinds of volume once again today. Back to the upside, or trying. There seems to be a big seller, though. Every time it does start to move back up, gets smacked back down. Side note as well, co-founder of WonderFi, WNDR, moving to the big board here in Toronto on the TSX as of today. We're going to talk to Ben Samaru coming up here in a few minutes, guys.
Good, that should be pretty hype, man. That's always a big liquidity event there, moving over from one exchange to another. So congratulations to WonderFi on that one. And Brent, I'm not going to go over the story. Brendan will have that very, very soon. Another CEO and co-founder coming on. Is he the CEO and co-founder there, Brendan? Yeah, okay. So CEO and co-founder Ben Samaru from WonderFi coming up in 5 minutes. We'll get his take on exchanges and crypto, and Brendan will definitely have a banger for you right there. Just in case you guys are wondering, I'm just going to review some of my things before I go over to Revlon right now, which we're positive on today, although it was 20 cents per share to pay for the short. So we'll talk about that. But right here, we did make a beautiful move here. We're short XOM right there. We took a piece out at 89, and now if it breaks back above 89, we want to get out. That's where the 50 period is. Let's see if XOM wants to fall down. And I'm just reviewing this because honestly, like thanks for this video, but like I really feel that there's not too many traders out there that will give you their in price and exactly their out price. So if we break above 89, we're going to get out of that, or we're going to hold it all the way back down in. Every single trade that I'm in here, as long as I'm on the air, no problem sharing it to you and giving you the reasons why I'm in and why I'm out and things like that. And I mean, right now, again, let's go, mamma mia. There is confirmed pineapples on this pizza because Arun is in the building right now. So here it is. There it is. Philip Morris. One more. Well, it's Altria. Sorry, MO, there goes my 21 years there of experience, MO. But they're another out there at 41.60 off some reloads long. So Philip Morris today on that Jewel news, bang to the downside, a big move down 10%. But instead of going short, we definitely missed the short. Shout out to Brendan on that as well. He brought us this short real early. There's actually, I can go timestamp it, man. There's a video out. That's what we're doing. You got to follow Brendan on Twitter, man. Here, I'm going to do it right now. I don't know why we didn't do this more. Let's get Brendan some more followers. Watch this, Brendan, how much you're going to get. Okay, at... what is it, Trader TV, Brendan? I have to Google it because I have so many things here. At Trader TV, Brendan, let's just go over this right now. If you're not following Brendan and you're following me, you're insane. But here we go. Look at this. There's the Tesla. Here's the MO news, right? At 5, so that's 5 hours ago. Where can I see this time on here? I can't see because I just clicked it. But the exact minute there, we brought this out with a video, with everything. So go find it. Maybe Bears versus Bulls right on that one. But that's it right here. At the time, 9:34, something like that. Brendan tweeted this out 5 hours ago. So there's the story on Altria. And yeah, bang, right off the open, big move to the downside. I was getting some love on Twitter myself, people telling me thanks for that call out, and I'm just like, hey man, it's the man himself with those call outs. So a big shout out to Brendan. We went long Philip Morris, and it is what it is on that one. So let's see how low Philip Morris can go. Our out's going to be 41. We started, I don't remember what we were supposed to be talking about now, but
Rev.
Something. Oh, Rev. Good one. Thanks for that. That was good. Okay, Revlon. All right, 152 million shares, right? I don't know where this thing's going to go from here. So Revlon today, we traded it. We initially were short this name, which was good. Anytime you see a purple tick, it's going to mean it's a short position. So we were initially short on Revlon. I liked it. We got out. That was fine until about 10% or 20% left. Got blown out to the upside. Then we were punched long by accident, and it wasn't even by accident. We always wanted the long if it took out the day's high. Then it halts, we get out on the halt, then we take that piece out, and since then we got in and out right there quickly as well. So Revlon's gonna be a positive name for us. The only thing is, and I talked about this yesterday, look at Revlon yesterday. So here it is, that dancing around $4 before breaking. Then this little dance is $5, right? Then in here is $6. Then we got up to 7 and stopped. So there's always trouble around even dollars. Here's $8 all morning, barcoding, breaking, right? 9, I actually haven't done the work at $9 today. Actually 9 right in here, actually it kind of works for 9 as well. Look, here's the trouble at 9 right into here, right? Broke lower, breaks 9, goes all the way back down to 8, and then look at that top 10. So we talked about some of the rumors there. It's the CEO and owner of Reliance over there in India was looking to make a play, possibly making a play on Revlon. He's worth $106 billion. I believe that's just where a lot of this comes from. It's tough for me to recommend a long or a short on this name. I mean, you're up from literally $1. This is where they declared bankruptcy, Arun, so it goes from 5 down to 1, and then all this talk starts to happen. And we also realized, and this is another thing, right? Like, we're not just going to sit here and tell you to do something. We're going to try to look it up and show exactly what's going on. So here's Revlon. I updated this this morning, 37%. Let's see if more short floats have come in on Revlon here today. I don't think these update real time anyways, but you're at 36% short on Yahoo. Ameritrade has it around the same, and a short tradable float out there as well. So yeah, you know, Revlon continues to be one of those names that's obviously held by retail, and we're just gonna see where it goes, man. That's Revlon. You got to watch out for the $10 mark, in my opinion. Sorry, that's NIO now. Let me go back to Revlon quickly. You got to watch out for this $10 mark. We stopped right there. $10 was the bottom, but there is a spike possibility up to $15 or $16. So I would just be very, very careful with it. This is the 50 period. This is the 200. So the 200 period up at $9. But that's Revlon, and so far so good for anybody that was part of this game. But if I'm long at $1, man, you may want to sell it, man. $9, good return in a week and a half.
That's the thing with these names, right? When they get hot, everyone just jumps on board, pushes it further than it needs to, like every other stock, but I feel like it's even more sensitive to that type of movement now. So you have that move down at when we, this is the 60-minute chart, by the way. So yeah, we fell from $4 and change on the 10th, based out around $1.20 or $1.15 or whatever, went sideways for a bit, and then as soon as we cracked 250 for like the third time, we stuck. Actually, it wasn't even 250, it's $3. Then we just stuck. And that was it. Everyone's like, okay, great, that's a technical trade. It is a technical kind of a setup breakout, I guess, that you can work with. And then as soon as you start to get movement on this, because it's a $3, $4 name, it starts to look really appetizing because it's up, you know, double-digit percentages. And then all of a sudden, everyone jumps on board and pushes it much further than it needs to go, right? So it was great down here when it was setting up at 3. Now we're at 8. Yeah, it can keep going for sure, as long as there's more interest in this name and this 46% carries over to the next day and people are like, oh yeah, I want to trade that. But be aware of something like this. When it moves like this, it's a problem because it needs to build up a base to actually allow it to continue. Otherwise, it's just going to be a vacuum to the downside. Just be aware, though. It can keep going, but just be aware. Brendan.
All right, it is a busy day, but an important day for our guest this afternoon. We're happy to have WonderFi back on the show. There's the note. Yeah, as of the open this morning, you can now find WonderFi listed on the TSX here in Toronto. We're happy to have Ben Samaru, co-founder and CEO of WonderFi, back on the show. It's great to see you, Ben. As always, congratulations, first of all. Big day for the company. Give us a little bit of background here, I guess, to start things off. Obviously, a big move going to the big board, the biggest of the boards here in Toronto and in Canada.
Yeah, it's a really exciting milestone for the company. And I think for the TSX and the industry as a whole, the TSX obviously is the largest and oldest exchange in Canada and one of the largest exchanges in the world, has been pretty cautious about listing crypto companies and has obviously done a lot of diligence around companies that they have listed. So it's they have a very sort of, strong group of companies that are listed on the TSX. It's names like Galaxy Digital, Hut 8, Bitfarms, some of these really large established companies. And WonderFi is now the first marketplace, a crypto marketplace that is listed on the TSX. So we're really excited to partner with the TSX and be able to bring licensed, regulated crypto trading platforms to investors that use the TSX.
Say for the industry here, Ben, when you speak on that note, are we moving in the right direction when it comes to the regulators, taking a little bit of a different look and a different stance at the industry, at individual companies, as you said? What's the next step maybe in that process?
Yeah, it's really a continuous evolution. I think there's, as regulators grant more licenses and start to really understand the business models and risks behind businesses like WonderFi, BitBuy, Coinberry, you're able to see, really the nuts and bolts of what's happening, and you're able to really kind of pinpoint what the issues are that are resulting in, customers losing funds or some of this, very high risk that really investors and users don't want to be exposed to, and the regulators don't want them to get exposed to. So I think it's a very kind of healthy progression on the regulatory front, and we're seeing a lot of additional comfort that regulators are providing with respect to businesses like ours in Canada, and then also starting to happen in the U.S. and in some other jurisdictions. So I think it's it's definitely moving in the right direction, and then established institutions like the TSX coming around to listings of licensed platforms like WonderFi also supports that, because it's just another piece of the ecosystem of the investment capital markets ecosystem that's really moving in the right direction and allowing access to these types of opportunities.
It's been a challenging year, to say the least, when it comes to not only equity markets, but obviously crypto markets as well. Give us your take here on the overall lay of the land. Obviously, things have changed over what we've seen the past 3 to 5 years. As of almost the first day of this year, things changed dramatically. What is your take when it comes to the overall lay of the land of crypto markets, and where do we go from here? And what would you say to investors maybe to maybe give them a little more comfort in what is happening right now?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's obviously been a rocky year, and lots happening at a macro level, which is impacting really everything: venture, technology, crypto, really everything across the board. You're seeing drawdowns from anywhere between 70 to 98, 99% with some companies. And at the end of the day, sort of to simplify, it's people are moving into cash, and so that means they're moving out of a lot of equity investments and crypto, and so those companies and markets are being affected significantly. I don't necessarily think that we're through that yet. I think there's still going to be a lot of volatility moving forward, and for businesses in the technology sector, in the crypto sector, it's really about just focusing on building and really trying to grow the product and user base sort of throughout this market. And that's really what we're doing across all of our brands right now. I think these I don't know if it's quite a bear market, but these bear markets are great times to focus and build, and really just kind of make sure you have the staying power to move forward regardless of market conditions. And so that's something that that we've really focused on and pride ourselves on, and I think it's really the only way to move through these types of market conditions.
Yeah, well said. On that note, it's been an exciting 6 to 8 months. It's been an exciting year for WonderFi, specifically with a couple of major acquisitions. Now the uplisting to the TSX. What can investors look forward to as we head into the latter part of the year?
Yeah, for us, it just comes back to providing access to for people to compliant crypto. So that's through our trading platforms, making it easy for people to buy crypto through WonderFi, BitBuy, Coinberry in a safe, regulated manner. And then also for investors, public market investors who want to be able to access a regulated, compliant investment, whether that's retail investors who, they're worried about investing in something that might not have that sort of security or safety around it, or moving into institutional investors, which Kevin O'Leary talks about very often, that a lot of the mandates for these institutions, there's such a focus around compliance that they're not able to move into investments in the crypto space that don't have that compliance factor really vetted and locked down. So I think we're going to continue to do that. And so for us, that means looking at new markets to move into from a capital markets perspective and from a product perspective. And that's really going to be a focus for us for the balance of 2022.
Brand new listing on the TSX as of today. Wonderfy. Check them out, guys. WNDR now on the TSX here in Toronto. If you're a part of the Day Trade the World family, symbology-wise, at our system doesn't change at all, so nothing to do. But great to see you, as always. Ben Samaru, co-founder and CEO of the company. We know you're tight for time this afternoon. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks so much.
Very interesting, man. I think that what he talked about there with Kevin O'Leary about some of the corporate and getting on board with that is very, very interesting. And I often wonder myself, like, what is that next sort of leg to drop there when you're talking about crypto? I mean, it's been a little bit of a rough ride, but I think Ben talked about it there, that you want to be on. And this is even true when we had Sam Bankman-Fried on, when he was talking a little bit about, getting onto a site that is respectable and that you can, trust. And I think that holding crypto in cold storage also nice, but then you have to buy it somewhere. So I think that there is, some news about that coming through, and we're glad to have Ben Samaru on. And great interview there, Brendan, as they talk all about the crypto markets. And they are coming up with more crypto regulation, whether or not that's going to be good or not for the coin itself, who knows? I still think that, you are relatively, it's kind of tough when you say something's in its infancy when it's, what is it, 15 years old or something? Bitcoin, when people sort of started really talking about it. But it's just one of those things now where it's had that move down, and now we're just going to wait to see where the dust settles. So I don't know. I'm in HUD 8. I'm in a little bit of Coinbase as well, and I'm in a little bit of Wonderfy. But as you look at these names, it's just been a rough ride. Even HUD 8, he dropped. This was Ben. Ben dropped some of these names to us today. HUD 8 was a $17 name not too long ago, like talking about near the beginning of the year. There it is right there. Actually, I guess it was November, whether or not it was at the beginning of the year. Look at, November was 17, and then Jan 1st basically went down to $7. So some of these names have had some big, huge rides up, and now are just like getting crushed down to the downside here. So we'll have to watch out for some of these, but Wonderfy, and another interesting name. I don't know if I want to, if I called up in Toronto, do we still have the quote in Toronto, Brendan, or? Yeah, we do have it today. Okay, so here it is, 70 cents, only 237,000 shares today, but we'll see where Wonderfy goes from here. So let's mark this down, 66 cents here today on the transfer over for Wonderfy. So a nice little move, but you could see it's had a rough ride with the rest of crypto.
Yeah, to say the least. You could, I don't want to say you could see it coming, but it just stuck in my head. This is happened a while ago, when a company that had nothing to do with crypto or even blockchain decided to do that, they wanted to change it. I forgot the name of the company, but I remember what they were called before, Long Island Iced Tea. Do you remember Long Island Iced Tea?
I do. We talked about that, yeah.
Out of nowhere, all they did, they still made, nothing in their business model changed except for the name, and the stock went through the roof. So that's the kind of market you deal with. When you see that, you're like, okay, some things are a little too far, they're a little too hot there when something like that can easily happen. So obviously things are coming back into real world, I guess, pricing, whatnot. And they're going to, like Sean said, they're going to figure out what the true pricing should be on some of these names that have gone a little bit, that should have no reason being where they are. Now they're coming back in, they're going to base out. And you talk about regulations. So you're trying to regulate something that is built on the idea of not regulated, decentralized.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's going to be the sticking point, right? How is this any different from, say, a globally accepted currency? Yeah, that's accepted by multiple central banks, right? That's a completely different product that doesn't exist, but I'm just saying that's no different because you're essentially going down that road. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out, but definitely an industry where a lot of things are happening. The technology itself is impressive, but what has been built around the technology is probably a little too overinflated. So at some point they will kind of trim the fat and figure out what needs to be done and go in the direction that will essentially build up the technology along with the actual asset that will be providing, I guess, the future of finance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. I think, more regulation would be bad for that. But there is that side that the more regulation that comes in, you will get some more, I don't know if we want this. Like Morgan Stanley, all these guys building out these Bitcoin ETFs. There was a triple leverage short ETF that was released this week as well. So, I mean, the game, was it triple or double? But the game just keeps on going. I want less manipulation on all this stuff. But I mean, remember, there is an infinite amount, a finite amount of Bitcoin out there, 21 million. So once that finally gets mined, then does it just become a store of value? And like you said, they got to build on it. They got to build some projects. They got to get those dApps and everything working like that. And now we're sort of talking more about the blockchain and Ethereum and things like that. But Bitcoin itself, definitely a story to tell. We did have El Salvador, remember, went to the currency. Now that you
How are they doing, by the way?
Since you were mentioning it, I mean, how's everybody doing, by the way? I mean, apparently we're in a recession over here. We'll see how that comes through right now. People talking about home prices in Canada. Watch out now. People saying that people are going to default on their mortgages. It was like a 1 in 4, they said. I don't know. I keep saying they. I don't know if it was our Royal Bank. I don't know who released that report. But very, very nervous about the tipsy-turvy. The thing about it is here, you can only lock in for 5 years, right?
Yeah.
So that's sort of the problem. We don't have like those 30-year fixed products and stuff like that, that I know exist out there. The most you can lock into here in Canada would be a 5-year fixed or variable rate mortgage. And we were pretty much, we had Tony on, I think it was a couple Tuesdays with Tony ago, or maybe it was even yesterday, that it just goes so fast. That we talked about where the money was going, and that the problem is that was virtually free for the last 15 years, mortgages. I mean, it was, you get like 1.7%, something like that, for a mortgage rate, right? And now that people have come up for due here, because you can only go every 5 years, they're now noticing that, my mortgage has just doubled. The rate has doubled or tripled. And all of a sudden, these mortgage payments that were affordable now are no longer. So we'll wait to see about housing prices right now. New position alert for me, and it's not a good one. So yeah, this could be a loser right here. AMD, look, the market was below the 50 period, and now we're dancing up to it. So we're short right now. We're out of the money a whopping 4 cents. So let's see what happens here with AMD. But right now we're short against this 85, a little higher than that. I mean, I don't want to go up to here. We can go up to here. This is not a huge position, but I just don't want to be sitting in a loser, especially if this market takes off. We are bouncing off the 50 period right now. So let's see if we can stay underneath here. And I mean, this feels like a middle day to me. I mean, we were up, we were down, back and forth and all around. So like, look at this big, huge move up. Then it gave it all back pretty much. And there goes AMD. AMD, a nice little move to that downside. Now 12, 14, 15 cents in the money. Let's see if we can get even more on this trade. We were going to give this to about 85.10 or so about 13 or 14 cents worth of risk. So now that we're in the money, that same amount, let's take a little bit more out. So there it is, some more outs for that. So yeah, okay, we get unplugged a little bit here on this AMD short. So here comes another one. We'll put a bid at 67. There it is, bang. See if we could take that out. Take that. Some more outs here for AMD as we continue to slide. The only problem is, as we slide down, Twitter, still a very, very positive stock for us, but a little face slap action here as it starts to come back in. We only held that 20% or less than 20%. No, I think that was about 20%. I'll double check it. About 18% or so there. But we did get out right here, 39.10. Just before that interview there, we talked about Twitter slipping down, looking at that 39 level, but there it is, man. Completely change to the downside, and then there's the out that we talked about, breaking through VWAP and taking that out. So Twitter does fall down on its face a little bit there to end the day, but still a positive stock for us. We took enough money out of that. XOM, we were still looking at this 89. I'm going to change this now because the 50 period is crossing below VWAP here. So 88.80 will lock in about we're short 89.50. So we'll lock in 70 cents now of profit on XOM. Let's just change our order there. But again, a couple trades for Power Hour, man. We took this one. I mean, we took this one at 220, so Power Hour's now. But let's see what happens with XOM. You can see this market's closed, volume completely dried up. Still trying to go back to the downside is oil, but not anywhere near its bottom of 101.50.
All right, with the market stalling at this 3,800, remember we were looking at this 3,800 saying if we can get above and stay above, there's a chance that we can actually extend towards 3,820. If we end up back underneath 90, then we can probably see 38 at 37.60. So with the market doing what it did at 3,800, us going into the final hour, we ran hot quite early, and then we kind of just tapered off a little bit here. So now I'm thinking, you know what? Let's just damage control. The only one I got to really worry about, Apple's in the money, so I don't have to worry about that one too much. That one's, I've already got a trail stop in place south of 135, so we can leave that one. That'll lock in $1.40 and change. Right now it's up 274, but again, I'm okay with locking in $1.40 because I want to see what the imbalances bring. Remember, imbalances come out at 350, so I want to see if I can hold on until 350 to see what these imbalances are. If the imbalance is positive, Apple could keep continuing to its move. The one I don't want to wait for the imbalances for, and I don't want to get out here, but at the same time, I want to give it a chance, is going to be Nike. Nike is not making its move. Nike is not helping the case right now with the way it's been moving around. We went long north of 106.50. It went all the way down to 105. It tried to get back into that 106.50 area and then lost it again. Now we're just going sideways on Nike. I don't want to hold on to this too long, especially with the futures moving back up. I want to see if I can use this to get out on Nike, because the whole point of Nike was this trade right here. Break underneath 105.50, which is the low from the 16th, the 17th. Got underneath, get back above 106.50, allows you to play the false break through the bottom, and we didn't get that. So for me, it's going to be damage control. It's out 80 cents right now. I'm going to try to bring that down a little bit to maybe 55, 60 cents, and then we'll just get it out. We should get a chance. We should actually, with the futures moving the way it is, I think we should be able to get out on Nike with a smaller loss than where we are now. That's it, right? We got out of PG in the money. We're going to try to do damage control on Nike, and then Apple is doing perfectly fine up 307, and I'm going to try to hold on to the rest of this until the imbalances come out
There it is.
at 350. So that's about it.
Okay, good call there. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, buddy, because there's MO, Philip Morris, a nice little move to the upside again right now. So we're going to take advantage of that bump and just get more out on Philip Morris. So here we go again, man. Couple good outs. Boom, boom, boom. We'll still hold a little bit, see if we can touch view up at $42. It hasn't really done that. It sort of went to 42 here. And we were on the air when this happened, and I was like, yeah, maybe we'll take it all out, but we didn't. And then we averaged in back here at that same level again. And this is what I mean about trading these names. This is how I do it. It's like, wait until there's a bottom. We should have hit that. There should be a purple tick here. We should have hit that short, but we didn't. We even called it up when Brendan brought the news, man, and it was like, oh God, this is going to be bad. But then I was in so many other things at the time. But yeah, stick with your guns on Philip Morris here. Let's see if it's made that bottom. I mean, the news is out, so we'll see about that Jewel product. I guess, I don't know if the news was officially that they're now banned or they're just looking at banning them, but right now, Philip Morris definitely making that move down in now. So we'll see if we can hold it for an upside move. All right, there goes AMD. And again, that's why we take that risk to reward. So we will actually be red on the final of that trade as it does tick up to 85.10. Of course, that looks like the high. But look what happened here on the NASDAQ. It did break above. But see, now it's a little foolish. It's trying to come back in. So now I'm getting tricked here to think that we should go short AMD again. Hey, Bob's your uncle, not mine. Actually, I don't even have an Uncle Bob, but we'll play off that. We'll go short again, and I'm actually going to this time. I don't know. What are you thinking about the futures? And I know you just mentioned that you might be flat here until the close, waiting for those imbalances. But I'm wondering about giving AMD to this level. We've only been long today, and it was a good trade for us until it finally broke. But right there, 85.30. It was a level right there, possibly. But the thing is, like, I don't want to cherry pick levels. Like, I want to make sure that I'm in these for the right reasons, right? It's not just like, let's just look at a chart and go short because we were wrong on our last one. That's not what's going to happen here. So we'll wait to see where this wants to go from here. Just getting some orders out back into the 80s just in case, noticing that is where the 50 period is. We're only short 85, so we'd like to take at least 15 pennies on this. I'm going to hold this until that 85.30 comes through. And again, AMD, just look at the other names. I was debating taking Meta long as well. Meta, back in, coming back down, has already given up some of that. So we'll see. There's that out on Meta. I mean, how good was that out for me there? Breaking through VWAP. We talked about getting out of Meta. Now we're out of the way. So let's see where that goes now. Maybe even into that 157 area that we're talking about. But right now, come on, AMD. Now we're in the money 11 cents. cents, 12 cents. We have that bid out in the mid 80s. Hopefully we get taken out on that, giving us a decent risk to reward. But we did get stopped out, but we sold it back in again. So let's see where Meta goes from, or sorry, where AMD goes from here. Don't know what stock you're in. Oh yeah. I keep talking about Philip Morris. It's Altria. So thank you for that, Willow Puff there. Good one on that one. Can try Meta short with a stop at 158.50, says TradeX Freedom. Let me see what that looks like. I could try the Meta short. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Short into that 50 period. Well, yeah, 158.50, that's good. I don't want to short it into these levels. That's the only thing. You could be right and still be wrong. I know that doesn't make too much sense, but like if I short here, I got to give it 60 cents. So 60 cents back in does put me at 157 flat. I don't know. Let's hold on. Let's hold out on that idea. I don't mind it, but right now I'm short AMD. Look at the market. We've come back in on this one. So let's see if AMD can print the short before we start talking about Meta. But I do like AMD. It's into the mid. Where am I on AMD? I'm literally at 85. I think it just touched 86. Hopefully this will come through for me. But right now, this is the position that we have AMD to the short side.
Yeah, you've got AMD, you've got Meta. You were trading Meta earlier.
Yeah.
A lot of index names.
I've got oil name.
NASDAQ index names.
XOM.
So yeah, the tech names we were talking about, Apple, Meta, AMD. I'm just going through the list here, or at least the list that I've got here with names.
AMD just printed.
AMD. All right, Sean's got some exits on AMD, so making some money there. I'm just going through the NASDAQ 100, and I'm like, okay, some big names were up earlier today, and now I'm just like, not really much. I mean, our largest winner is Adobe, it looks like, at 1.7%, right? So not much in the tech world. Although tech is up 0.7, you're not getting a lot of crazy winners. You're, from 0.31 on Apple to being down 0.7 on AVGO. I'm noticing on the S&P side, though, Pfizer up 2.7%. So
Ooh-wee.
I noticed that actually not just Pfizer, NVAX as well. A lot of these names, these VAX names were moving aggressive this morning. The rest of the market was going too, but man, on NVAX from 40 all the way up to 45, 46, that's a quick move, and they kind of just were going sideways for the last little bit, and they finally got above. It may not be a trade today. You may have not, like I didn't see this until we got above 45. So it may not have been a trade they were watching, but definitely if you're going sideways like this for this long, and then all of a sudden you get a breakout move like this to the upside, keep an eye on NVAX, Pfizer, all those names, Moderna probably as well. Just keep an eye on these names because they're giving you the levels, they're showing you the consolidations that they've been working with, they finally broke out of. So definitely an area that I'd keep an eye on NVAX. Just mark them off, come back to them tomorrow, see if there's a trade to be made, whether it's to be a breakout long or even a failed break short. So just mark them off and come back to them, because just because it's not today doesn't necessarily mean you got to forget about it, because there will be another trade to make. And if that's tomorrow or Friday or whatever, just keep an eye on these names because they are moving, and they're finally moving after being sideways, it looks like, since about early June. So finally making a move. Keep an eye on those.
Yeah, you know what? You're 100% right, man. I don't remember the last time we even talked about Moderna or any of those names, and that NVAX is an interesting one with some of the trials going back and forth there. All right, let's go again on this one. We'll go pins lined up there just because the risk to reward did line up. We actually got an 80 print there as well, so that's 20 cents right there, so that's another spot. We do have a spot right here at 84.85, so 2 outs. So we are out of 40% now, 20%, another 20% on this AMD. It sucks that we got stopped out literally at our spot. Like, why does that go to 85.10 exactly where I said my stop was? So, yeah, not to say there's anything fishy there, but that seems a little bit strange. And then the move comes right back down, so we'll wait to see here. I mean, we could still get taken out, right? The market is trying to test some of these levels, so let's see where we go. I want to take more short into 85.20 with an 85.30 out. So if it does come back up, I mean, let's just put that order out right now, 85.20 or so. We'll put, maybe not exactly at that price, but pretty close to it. We'll see if we can sit there, take a short, and then use this 85.30 sort of as our out for AMD. But just as long as the market stays below this, we've seen the market give up the ghost a lot of times here into the close, including what I believe was yesterday. We can just look that up as well. But we'll see here. Hopefully the imbalances come to the sell side. We'll get that financial juice number from Brendan or Trader Prad whenever that does come through. Just quickly, we did talk about that Philip Morris out. We are now very light on this trade as we're starting to lighten up now. There's the out there at 41.65. Now it's falling back. It looks more like a dramatic move than it is. It's not really. That's just down now 14 cents from where we got out. So nice little trade there for Philip Morris. I got to get rid of that wick, and it'll make it look all a little bit better if I get. Actually, no, it won't. If I get rid of that, and then other than that, man, XOM still printing lower. This is sort of come back in. I feel like I don't want to give up any money on this trade, especially now that we're closed here on oil. Oil right now down that 3.38%. Let's see if it just continues to slide here in the aftermarkets of oil. So right now, big move to the downside for me off that short 89.50. So now this is now $1.10 in the money on this short. So yeah, we're printing cash here today, man. It's been a good day for me. No red names on the board. AMD is a positive name for me. Meta's my #1 stock today on the board after all these longs and then just getting out. We should have gone short. Good call there, Trade FX. Philip Morris. Said it again. Altria. Sorry about that. Whoever called me out on that last time. Willow Talk or Pillow Talk, something like that. There's a super chat. We'll get to that in a minute. MO was a good one. NIO is my most disappointing stock again because there's my stop getting run. We got back into it again, made that money. We called the 23 short. We really like that off of yesterday. Here's yesterday's 23 level. And look at that. Look where my out is, right at yesterday's high. Happens to me all the time. Hi, my name's Sean, but that's fine. Sometimes we want to extend our stops a little bit more. Lesson learned. We'll be back tomorrow, NIO, but still, good name. I mean, this is our initial shorts, man, 22.95. I know. Was everybody like, where is everybody?
I don't know.
It's like dead quiet in here. Must not be too much money being made. Nice move all the way down. Like, look at this. Short, short, short. There's some picks at 22.15 to the downside. Nice take on NIO. And just wrapping up this. Twitter, good again. And then out. And then we held our last 20% or a little bit, I think it was 18%, got out on that one. And then we all know XOM, and that calls it out for me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 traded names today, all different sectors, and done good for me. So we'll wait on it. We're going to end the day maybe at our highest spot, maybe not. A lot of that's going to depend right here on AMD. And before I continue to talk more, it seems like, I'm setting this out at 88.60 here for XOM. I just want to make sure that we respect that 88.60 new out for XOM. Other than that, we'll let this all ride. And if we find any other opportunities, we'll take them.
Yeah, I'm just going through my trade list when you mentioned, you trade 7 names. I'm like, I only traded 3. And then I looked at the last entry that I made, 10:33 a.m.
Oh, God.
10:33 a.m. on Nike. That was my last entry. And that's the loser that I'm sitting on right now, the dollar loser on Nike. So I haven't really made, I have a 8:51 entry on Apple. So 8:51 in the morning. And then I got a 9:40 entry on PG. And then a 10:33 entry on Nike, and that's it. Since then, it's just exits. So here we are, kind of waiting it out. And going back to what I was talking about, like certain names that are actually at the top end of the range. Those are the ones that if they're in the range, you work them on the short side because they're at the top end of the range. And if they're breaking out, like say what Apple did with good strength, then you go for the long, right? It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go short tech and go long somewhere else. It just means that whatever's at the range top, just go for the short if you have a reason to go for the short. Amazon was one name. Another name we talked about earlier that is also, I just saw it because I had an alert set up, so if it broke through 180, it would come off. I'm not going to take it now, but 180 short against the top end of the range, yeah, why not? Right? That's an easy one to take if you had more time to work with. I would definitely take it if I had more time to work with. With us, it's 316 right now. It bounces out in about 34 minutes. It's not enough time for it to work a trade back into the entire range. And if you go past a certain point, then you're entirely reliant on the imbalances moving the stock. So not going to play that game, but just be aware that Netflix, another name that you can work with at the range edges, right? You got the top here, you got the bottom down here. That's a clear range. Amazon's the other one, and now you have Netflix. Brendan.
All right, just working my way through a relative volume list and came across this. Kirkland's, which is not the Costco brand. This is a home furnishing retail store, up 26% here on heavy volume, just made a day high there. They had a new product launch today in their stores in the U.S., so a nice move here today for KIRK.
Okay, Kirkland, all right. You brought Neil that huge, first of all, I've already had my vitamin today, so shout out to Costco. We can look at that one. And then that huge thing of nuts you brought Neil for the cashews. He's loving those as well every single day. So shout out to Neil and cashews there. So good trade there. Let's look out. What was the symbol there for that? Kirk. Sometimes it's easy, but this extension's not, so as I put in a New York name there, let's just check out what's going on with this name, Kirkland here, coming into play one more time today. This seems to like be on the radar, and then it's off the radar, and then it's back on. I mean, look at this destruction of this name, man. 27, geez, down to $3. Like, when's the madness gonna stop? Down 28% there today, up 28%, sorry, off some nice movement. You see the volume definitely kicking in on that news. 380 right there, bottom for Kirkland, up to $5. Wow, there it goes, upside. 50 period is at 650. That very bottom there is $6, possibly making a move to that. We could just check out quickly here the float checker. And again, no matter what the news is, it's kind of like, all right, where do we go from here? What kind of percentage? And I did like that talk there about, like, how much does retail hold of these names, because that tends to be one of the keys as well there. So right now, yeah, big time short float on Kirkland right here, 31.28. So let's call it 30% short, with most of the shares being able to trade, not locked up right now. So 10 million shares, that seems like a lot these days. If you told me that, like, I don't know, a year ago maybe? I guess a year ago with AMC would have been fine too, but that doesn't seem like very many shares, does it? But with 10 million, yeah, I guess that's more than Revlon's 2 or 3 million. But there it goes, a nice upside move here today for Kirk. So hey, I don't know, man, where this stock's going to go, but if you look at a 1 minute chart, it is bouncing off 5 again. So I'm not going to pay for the shorts on this. It's a little too late in the day. We may even have shorts, but $5 seems to be a good little area for Kirk. Oh, there it is. Okay. Watch, this means XOM is probably going to go back down right now, but there we are. We are now out of that short on XOM, so let's try to see where this one wants to go from here. But XOM short call is now out, so we are out of XOM. Hey, man, it's $1. So, there's me at my gas station there. Boom, I don't have an electric car, so we pay at the pump, but there it is right there, XOM, making the gas station a little more friendly there off that win. So XOM, a big trade for me today. Pretty happy with it. And we'll move off of XOM right now with a nice little win.
Yeah. The only thing I've done, somebody was joking that, since I've made that one trade or that last trade at 10:33, I've been catching up on Umbrella Academy. I will tomorrow, because I didn't know it was out. I thought the next season was out later, but hey, now I have something to do tomorrow. But for today, we just got out of Nike. I was trying to get out earlier at a higher price. It doesn't look like that wasn't gonna happen. I was trying to get out right here somewhere, and it just kind of continued its move down, and then it broke through 105.50. I'm like, okay, this trade's not gonna work. I'm running out of time, and I also don't want to hold on to this all the way down through the lows. So we're just going to walk away. This trade's not going to work out. I'm going to lose some money. So might as well just cut the loss now and move on. Let Apple be the only one that I carry until the imbalances. And the imbalances are in about half an hour. So we're almost there. But for the time being, this market has decided to take a nice little break, which is appreciated. Remember, this morning we were saying, oh man, this thing's running really, really hot. At some point, it's going to have to slow down, or it's going to completely just come right back down. It decided that it wants to slow down, which is okay. It's a good thing for a trend, for the strength of the trend to actually slow down like this. If it were to continue going hot, then it just creates a vacuum, at which point, if it were to even hit a down wave, it would just completely come back down. So the fact that we're building some decent support levels, it's going to be interesting to see. Right now, I'm noticing 37.40 could be a nice little support base that we work with. If we were to come down, say, into the 37.70, 37.60, and then start to stabilize a little bit, I may want to work with some longs against the 37.40 tomorrow, but we'll see how the overnight session plays out, because remember, we came into today being down 1.4%, and now we're up 0.6 on the NASDAQ. So things can change very quickly. If we come down a certain way and we start to stabilize, there could be a decent long. If we get aggressive with it, well, then we're right back to playing the wide range of 38.55 and 37.35. So quite the range to work with, unless we actually get some stability overnight. So we'll see how Europe wants to play today and tomorrow. Keep in mind, next week, guys, is going to be the end of the quarter, which is going to bring a lot of activity. So regardless of how this week plays out, I would imagine next week is going to bring some volume because all the imbalances were done last week. Next week being the end of the quarter, a lot of things need to be adjusted and made final changes too, if they need to reposition, if they need to change up weights, whatever needs to happen. So they're going to work with it next week. So we'll see how the volume comes in next week, especially as the quarter ends.
Let's go, man. Yeah, good call there. Here we go. We're coming out right now. Now we can afford for a little more gas at said pump right now. Check out AMD. Let's go, young fella. Let's go here on Advanced Micro. Nice move to the downside right here. Yeah, cannot believe we got taken out there, but we reloaded right there. So we took about a 15-cent hit, and now we just cashed out. You can see where we're short 85. That bid was right there at view up. We sat there, waited, man. Like a thief in the night, 84.64 there, nice out. I said I'd mention a super chat, and there's no way in hell I'm forgetting it. So what's up to Andrew Harris? Thank you so much, my man. That $20, yeah, Bears versus Bulls. Thank you so much for the moderation. Thank you so. Moderation, is that right? Moderating, yeah, moderation maybe of the channel. Thank you so much for all that, man. We really appreciate it, and he's definitely Bears versus Bulls, a great member, newest member of our team here. Now moderating for us, Arun. I don't even know if you knew that. Moderating for us because Miss V, of course, not here any.
There's another super chat too. I think there was a.
Was there another super
yeah,
chat?
there was
as
one
well?
that just came out.
Meta Rug Moderation Nation. I like that one. For sure. Moderating. Yeah, thanks guys.
HPES,
for all that. HPS. Yeah, okay, I will go over that right now. Yeah, thanks, Bears versus Bulls, man. That was fantastic. You're doing a fantastic job. So you have my direct email and contact if you need me for anything, of course. Moving forward, I did want to say something. Yeah, that Cat Williams there, Matt Williams. No, not Matt Williams. San Francisco third baseman, Giants, old third baseman there. Was this part of that? Because I talked about the Snoop Dogg. Cat Williams was on there. So I don't know if that was one of the jokes. 99 years old. I do believe Joe Biden is. I have to check his age, but is he the oldest sitting president? I know Donald Trump, I think, was there as well. But yeah, Joe Biden right now, president, of course. So we all know that. But that was funny. I didn't get all the way through that Netflix special there with Snoop Dogg, but it was. So far, so good. I got to about the third or fourth person, and then we switched it off there. So we'll have to watch that. The funny thing now is everybody does that whole Dave Chappelle thing, where you know how he got jumped on stage? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so now everybody comes out, and they're all like, trying to dodge and like talking about like their security guards and all this stuff. So that's some funny stuff. But I like the Bill Burr special. That was pretty cool too. But okay, more talking, less talking about Netflix specials. Although it was, you said the butterfly was the butterfly effect.
Umbrella Academy.
Umbrella Academy. That's right. I believe my wife watched.
It's so weird that's on a Wednesday though. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Okay, maybe I'll have to check that out. Right now, AMD is cracking lower and lower and lower right now, so we're going to have to watch out for this level, 84, 84.20 coming through. I want to hold this short. Look what's happening here to the market. We are starting to collapse. I mean, I got to watch my words here. Starting to head back to the downside now as we are well below this 50 period, and that's nice right there. So hopefully this can keep coming down to the downside now. 42 cents in the money. This was about 20 cents worth of risk. So now we have a 2-to-1 on that. We've taken some profit out. Let's see where we go from here. Philip Morris, AMD, the only two trades that we have on board right now. But we are getting ready to go to another guest coming up now. So as soon as we find out about that, we'll go over there to the big desk and we'll talk a little bit about Day Trade the World and what's coming up with them. But right now, 84.40. Here we go. Yes, sir. It's a touchdown. It's a Gronk spike as boom, there it is. Bye-bye, AMD. Now 60 cents in the money. Arun, man. Look, I mean, we're putting on good trades with Neil, but you've been great luck for me today, as pretty much every single trade I have on here is cashing in. So let's keep going to the upside here with the market downside. Oil, XOM, good out on XOM. A fantastic, look at that out on Meta. Look at that out on Meta. Now down, okay, Meta's getting down to 156 right now. This is about to get real spicy real fast. Do we hold that 156 bottom now on Meta? This is the come now. The future's really cranking down lower here. I'm going to take this opportunity to get one more piece out of AMD. Hey, let's just sit. Let's push bid, enter. Let's see if AMD does. There it is. Run over on AMD. We talked about Ms. V. There it is again. Neil, what's up, Ms. V? If you're watching the show, probably not. But here's my little character of Ms. V as well. Lego character or something like that right here. So there it is. Ms. V. Thoughts always with us here about Ms. V. She's completely fine, by the way. But we'll have to wait to see now where this market goes. I say further downside. Yes, AMD. 70 cents now in the money. So yeah, today, my friend, as Ice Cube says, today is a good day.
All right.
I know you don't have any trades to talk about.
Yeah.
Was there maybe a level of concern for you that the futures, because again, you're not here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Neil's going to be back in the building. But is there maybe a wipeout bottom or something that you're looking at here? Because I know, and I don't want to speak for you, because I don't think you had a futures trade today.
No.
So what might have to trigger it? I know you normally do this work for us at 9 o'clock, but maybe something now. Just let me know when we're ready for the opening bell. We can go over there at any time. But why don't you go through some levels if you had anything on your mind right now, Arun?
Yeah, okay, so we're essentially coming off a little bit here. Not coming off a little bit. Remember, I mentioned 3,800. If we can get above and trade above, then we have a chance to actually take a shot at this top end of the range here that I want to work with here around 38.55, 38.20 to 38.55. The fact that we backed off, if we got back underneath 90, then odds are we probably see 60 again, and it seems like that's the direction we're going to go in. But if we go down to 60, there is some support around 50 that we could potentially make a move on for the long side against 37.40, but that all depends on how we trade overnight, right? So we'll just mark that line off for now. It's 37.40, but if it doesn't hold up overnight, then obviously we're back to trading the wide range. But if it holds up and there's a decent setup in front of it, then I take a shot on the long side. But that's all we got. We really can't do too much. You can't really try to press too much when the market's not giving you the action and the zones and the levels you want to play with. You can't force it. Right? It's just going to end up costing you money. So in this case, I'm just waiting. Somebody earlier was asking, well, I'm a futures trader, right? Why didn't I take any trades on the futures? There wasn't a trade for me to make based on the way I look at it. So simple answer, you don't have to trade every single day. You just got to be very accurate when you do trade and you put money on the line because it's all about accuracy. So with that being said, we're just going to go to Brendan at his desk.
Still have it. Justin Kozach is here, Day Trade the World marketing guru, in the building to give us a preview. There it is.
Yeah.
You kind of go with the set today, which is
I do
amazing.
A little bit. Yeah.
To give us a preview of the next Day Trade the World opening bell newsletter coming up next Tuesday, guys. This is the page you want to go to. We'll grab the link, throw it in the chat there. That is the page where you can sign up. All you need is your first name and an email address. Hey, look, I have autofill on my browser. Justin, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? How was your Father's Day?
It was great.
Do you have kids?
I do not,
Okay.
actually, but
all right. So how was your Sunday?
My Sunday was.
I guess I should have led with the other question first.
My Sunday was very uneventful. Justin,
Okay.
How was yours?
Actually, my Sunday, I do have kids, so my Sunday was crazy. Went out. We had brunch with the kids, and my partner's parents were in town, so we all had brunch together, and then my daughter and I went off to the record store, and then my son kind of stayed home, and then he went for a walk with them. So yeah, it was a busy weekend. It was pretty great.
Amazing. It was beautiful weather, so that
Couldn't ask for better weather. Not today. It's 500 degrees
yeah,
today.
it's a little melty outside.
It is.
Tell the good people what they can expect next week in the opening bell newsletter.
So the next opening bell newsletter coming on Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. sometime in the morning, just before the opening bell. We'll have the latest content from the Trader TV YouTube channel, the Day Trade the World blog, and whatever else we think is kind of interesting out there in the world of day trading and stocks and futures and crypto and so on. Any
Interest, guys, in Day Trade the World itself? We also have a brand new website, which is amazing looking. You did the photography. I'm going to throw him out there just because I know he took this picture. The photography on the banner is exceptional, Justin.
Thank you. Shot with iPhone 12, so free plug for Apple, not like they need it. But we've gone through this process of really redesigning and rebuilding the Day Trade the World website, bringing it certainly up to speed and up to date. making it a lot more efficient. So certainly more changes to come on that website. We'll be adding certainly a lot more content, and so this is just very much the first iteration of that. Lots more changes to come for sure. So make sure to check that out at daytradetheworld.com and sign up for the newsletter at daytradetheworld.com/opening. Next edition goes out on Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Lots of great content being planned for that.
There you go. Make sure you check it out, guys. DTTW.com. Why don't I show you real quick? Right. It's super easy. Go DTTW.com. You go up here to blog and resources, and then you go down to sign up for the newsletter, opening bell, and that'll take you right to the page. So easy peasy. Justin Kozach, Day Trade the World marketing guru, back with us again. Thank you.
Guru, okay.
Guru, I like it. Okay, so someone here in the chat, really funny here, put this out. And like, we have these meetings like we had today, and I just throw things out there, and sometimes they stick, and other times I get, threatened to get fired and stuff like that. But right here, someone said, why that dude have an axe? Because in that, can you run that again? Or does something happen if you run that again? If not, then don't worry about it. There it is. Look, see? There it is with an axe. The reason why is quite simple, is because when I was wearing the lumberjack, like I had the white and black, I think he was wearing a similar shirt that day or one of the days before, and then we were gonna be like Lumberjack Nation. But that never really caught on, but apparently we did have a graphic for it, so that's what that's for. And it was the winter time, and there was lots involved there. So right now you can clearly see in shorts, not the winter time around here. And although Justin was saying it was 500 degrees, it's about 35 degrees right now, so about 90. You're gonna double check it?
It's humid.
It's very humid. It's 90 degrees out here Fahrenheit in balmy Toronto, Ontario.
Yeah, right on. 35 degrees feels like 39. Right on there, Sean.
Why, thank you. But anyways, needless to say, yeah, big time heat wave going through here in Toronto. So I hope all of you guys get a chance to visit. And if you do, anybody is more than welcome because Tony's already sort of told everybody that we have zero security. But, anybody's welcome to come through here, meet Brendan and Arun and Neil. And if you want to, I will be here as well. So
meet me. You're not going to meet me.
Well, you'd be lucky if Arun was around. So, but anyways, needless to say, thank you to Justin for that one. The opening bell is a very interesting publication. And to check it out, some interesting stuff if you are an active day trader, of course, especially here at Day Trade the World. But okay, right now, we'll go diamond hand, man. I mean, this is pretty much diamond hands for me, guys. $1 in the money now on AMD short. I mean, we gave this to you. It looks like it's going to be pretty hot fire here into the close as these futures. And unfortunately, Pratty Daddy there wore red today. Yeah, he's not there now.
Where is he? Where did they go? They all left.
Who knows where these guys go in the middle of the day, to be honest with you. But nice little move to the downside here on the NASDAQ, trying to retest. Remember, I was like, I think the NASDAQ went negative right there. It must have been because we're almost negative now, and we're a couple points, we're about 20 or so points away from that bottom, which should put us negative, I would think, at this point. So we'll wait to see there if that is indeed the case. But right now, yeah, the market trying to go back into the red zone here. And yeah, we have done a good job with this reload on AMD. Check back in. I want to check out Meta because Meta was a name there that we talked about swinging. And then you can see what sort of happened here today on Meta. Nice move for the day trade up to 161. And now it's faded back in, and look where it's bouncing. It's trying to bounce off that 156. The problem is, my opinion has drastically changed now, as this market is really pushing low, man. I mean, I don't know if I've missed something that's came out right now, some stuff about Canada. Can't be anything about Canada coming through, but this market definitely coming back in now. So I don't know if we think that Meta is going to hold this 156 bottom right there that we talked about from yesterday. I don't really want to gamble that it is going to hold. We're short AMD already. I'd rather just kind of play with this now this is 95 cents in the money and AMD is breaking lower. So I'm going to leave Meta alone, but I don't feel like it's at a horrible spot to take that long against that 156. So maybe for a quick little scalp, I'm just going to cheer on the short here as AMD starting to go back down to the downside here for us. So let's see where we go. But hey, we got an update there from Brendan. 862 million shares, not shares, notional, to sell on the imbalance. So that's something that's come out. So obviously, as you can see, some little downside moves happening in this market. Yes, sir. And there it is finally. We go, oh, where's my... I'm using the wrong, I got a brand new cup for Father's Day, actually. It says King of the Grill, and I don't know where it is right now. But yeah, we're feeling pretty damn good right now. Yes, we're going to end the day at a nice net number for us right here. So a little early. I don't really drink during the middle of the week, so I won't be bringing home a bottle or anything tonight. Oh, the Mariners, my kid yesterday, chalk it up again, another victory. So we'll go Mariners here on High Park T-Ball is the team that I coach. Another victory for us, and it was a really great time. Again, really super hot for us. But I was just thinking, what am I doing tonight? Oh yeah, T-ball practice, Arun. So we talked with Maggie about traveling, and you had a fun time today. The road that you take to get in there being paved, so
not looking forward
that
to the
was
drive
not
back
good.
home.
So on the way home here, well, you know, I like it. I coach. It should be a lot of fun for the girls as well. So, yeah, we're really, well, tonight's not a girls team, but Mariners practice tonight. We'll see everybody there.
All right, I'm going through the chat. Bradley asking a question. This is going to be for Day Trade the World offices only. Asking if it was set up to come over from the UK, can you trade in the office for a week? You're just going to have to submit a visiting trader request, I believe, and then double check with Greg. I'm sure you guys can figure that out after. If you contact your TFD, reach out to Greg, get the approval, and then do a visiting trader request, and then you can be on the floor for, if you are from Day Trade the World, then you're on the floor for a little bit. So just get that confirmation and then go from there. So that is always available for any of our offices, right? Yep. You just gotta make sure that Greg, who's going to be the floor manager, is aware and on top of that, and then just got to submit the request after that. So just put it through your TFDs if you need questions or if you need some sort of clarification on that. But now futures coming back in, there goes the 70. So back to 60 we go. And this is going to be one of those things. You said 860 million to sell on the imbalance. I've got a Apple long that is bleeding out. I still $1.92 in the money. But remember, this was at like $3 at one point. I had no reason to get out, but I think at this point, we're 50 cents away from getting stopped out, but also 10 minutes, just over 10 minutes away from getting the imbalance. So I'm going to try to hold on and see what we can get for the imbalance. But this market is now, get this, 0%, 0.01% on the NASDAQ, depending on when I say it. Right now, it's literally zero. It's flirting. You know what? Forget me saying it. I'll just show it to you guys. This is what I've got here. That's the number. So it's doing absolutely nothing. This market is right back to where it started off, or started off from yesterday's 6 p.m. open on the future. So here we are kind of just waiting for this market to do something. It's not going to be today, but something that can help us set up a trade for tomorrow, for Friday, whatever, but something that we can get us going, because this market has decided that, hey, you know what? We want to rally down, or we want to go down, rally up, and then completely fall off again. And now we're just waiting for this market to kind of base out and figure out what it wants to do. So imbalances will be telling. Apparently it's going to be big, big to the sell side, based on what Sean was saying. And for anyone who doesn't know what the imbalances are, they are essentially an end of day, essentially order book on what needs to be done on what stocks. So they look like, for us, for Day Trade the World offices and anyone who's using the Paperweight Trader software or the trading software, it looks something like this, right? Mine's modified a little bit. I have the symbol, the direction, and the size. So it just means that when this gets updated at 350, this is all old data from this morning. When this gets updated at 350, it's going to tell you, hey, this stock needs to buy this many shares by the time we get to the 4 o'clock based on the official closing price. And that tends to put pressure. If the imbalance is unusually large relative to what the stock has done in terms of volume, then it'll start putting some pressure on the name because programs are trying to buy it up going into that 4 p.m. close, right? So that's what you're looking at, and that's why it really matters. But at 350, we'll see what it's got. It's probably not going to be much, but 860 million, that's a decent amount of volume, yeah. So we'll see how this one comes out at 350. Brennan.
Twitter just popping back up here, guys, on big spike to the downside. Not a big spike, but big volume, anyways, to the downside. Just took out that low. Got a volume alert there on Twitter again.
Okay, we'll definitely have a quick look on that one. But, you know, that just goes to the different styles, right, between Brendan. Well, but yeah, Brendan has different style than me, than Neil, than Arun. You know, some trades you hold all day, some trades you scalp in and out of. And, yeah, I've now made over Actually, it's a pretty light day. 125 trades today for me. On the show for you guys. Some off the show, but not many at all. We weren't trading too heavily. We had that hour meeting in the middle of the day, which was pretty productive. Some new ideas coming through from that. But okay, so 900 million to sell into the close. You mentioned that was a decent size number. It's not a horrible number. We've seen a little bit bigger there, especially with those imbalances and things like that. Oh, did you see any? I meant to message you because we did have you on that imbalance day. It wasn't super fireworky, was it, last Friday?
No.
So the imbalances, I think they came out. I think we were expecting like it was 2 or 3 billion to the sell side. I think that's pretty much what it came out, and then they were pairing off. And I just remember that we didn't see that much there.
It's because they've gotten efficient over the years, right?
Right.
They were supposed to do I believe they were supposed to do 63 billion in trade, and over the years, and I'm sure you've noticed this too, is they've gotten very efficient. Remember, imbalances are great because it means one side needs to buy more than the other side needs to sell, whichever direction. And it's great when there's an actual imbalance. But if the programs are very efficient in unloading the shares, then you're not going to be able to capture that kind of movement. And that's what's happening over the years. Say 6-7 years ago, it was easy. You see this kind of imbalance, you know the stock's going to go. But now they've gotten a lot more efficient on how to run that trade and how to distribute those shares. And now it's just like, oh, great, there's a huge imbalance. Oh no, where did it go? It's because it's been dealt with already. So that's what's been happening lately. And that trade is probably not just imbalance trade, but that kind of influence at the end of the day. It's not going to have that kind of same weight as it did as programs evolve, as financial algorithms evolve. That kind of old school type of trading is not going to work anymore as programs get smarter.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and especially algorithms and everything, just everybody looking at the same trade. I remember that when I was trading imbalances, they used to be, they used to make a little more sense. They wouldn't pair off, or they would, and you'd be able to see them. But now everything is so fast. So good call on that one. Sometimes we see it live here on the show, and we're going to show it to you in 5 minutes. Everything we're talking about there. Okay, Bears versus Bulls, let's go. Oh, TradeX Freedom. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Great trade for you, TradeX, on that one. So we'll go roller coaster today on Meta, as Meta was a good one, and then you told me you were short there. My out is at 159. Would be pretty sick if that was also a short. Instead, we are $1.20 in the money on AMD, so that's good. But now maybe you'll realize why I was like not wanting to defend that 156. It just dipped down to 155.60 there. So yeah, it definitely, and just when a stock looks like this, when you basically, this is a 1 minute chart, when you don't have like any green candles, look where the green candles started. They started trying to defend 156 here, but that didn't hold. Now you're back up through. So maybe if you want to, this is more now when I'd go long 156 because we have that bottom of 155.70. So, if you go long now, for argument's sake, let's just say you're long 156 flat. You can get it now. So if you're long there, you're going to give yourself about 40 cents worth of room to the downside. And then hopefully if that imbalance, which is coming out as a sell, would be a problem. Look, I think today's been an absolutely fantastic day. Like I said, over 130 trades for myself. Every single name on my board has a W beside it. So, and we're cashing in right now on this trade that we basically, explained it, talked about it, got stopped, went back in on this trade, and now we have like a risk to reward. If you take it, I hear Pratt and the morning show talk about risk to reward all the time. This short on AMD, Pratt, I'm short at 85 flat. My out was 85.30. So that's 30 cents worth of risk, okay? It's $1.30 in the money right now. Sure, we only have 20% left. There it is, yeah, exactly, inject. Oh, did you hear that Jake Paul and Mike Tyson is going to be a go this year? Yeah, that's going to be spicy. So we're going to see. You thought Jake Paul was getting paid before. Wait to see what the payout is on this one for these guys. So shout out to you, Jake Paul. And it'll be awesome when and if he beats Mike Tyson. But the thing is, I believe Mike Tyson is like 83 years old or something.
Mike Tyson just get some practice.
I'm joking. He's not that old. He's
But didn't
84.
Mike Tyson just get some practice on a plane recently?
I don't know. Oh, what was he punching? Oh, I saw that. He nailed some punk. Yeah, maybe he's practicing. Maybe he was practicing for Jake Paul. No, but look, I don't know who's going to win that fight. I just always think when you have a 25-year-old, and this man's in shape, Jake Paul.
Yeah.
He is.
I mean, the other day I just saw like this.
Yeah. So forget about Ben Askren and all those guys. The guy knocked out Nate Robinson, who honestly, I'm not sure that guy's a boxer, let alone, the guy's 5'3", but the guy can dunk, so that's impressive, let alone. But anyways, that's that. Okay, we only have a few minutes left, but I just think that'll be really interesting if that does happen. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, kind of like Pratt versus Lucas, maybe at some point there, coming through. So we'll wait to see on that one, but I think that'll be a really great fight. I'm here for the entertainment value, right? I think Mike Tyson back in the ring would be so awesome. The thing about Mike Tyson is, as far as I know, that guy's getting high every day. So I don't know if that guy's in the right mind space to be fighting or anything right now. But yeah, there he is. You get those beats going. I think that's going to be a
power
great,
is power, man.
a great.
Power is power. You can't.
Ooh, they're both Lucas
talking
and Pratt
trash?
in the same weight class.
75, that's cap.
Wow. Okay. All right. The show must go on, as they say. Pratt just keeps saying that's cap, and here's a cap. I mean, we were Palantir investor. We'll pull this cap out soon. Very, very
What
soon.
weight class are you in, Brad?
180, he said.
180.
believe that.
If you want, I can drop down. I've done it before. For anyone who doesn't know, I've actually boxed in the past, so I can drop down if you want. I can make weight.
Pratt, first of all, hold on a second. I got to have my boys back here. I'm the one that brought Pratt into this. He's not trying to fight you. He's not trying to fight Lucas or anything like that. I'm just trying to promote. See if there's a possibility to get a little bit of Trader TV Live action going on here. We did talk about getting an octagon at some point because that would be fun. Throw that in the back, man, and start going. But I don't think Sharif is here today, but I got Sharif if he's on my team as well. And then the Axe Man himself, Justin. Will be in the building as well. So, okay, let's go. All right, so here we go. AMD, a nice little move to the downside. Where are we going to get out? Not anytime soon. We're going to wait to see. Brennan just put it out. Oh, that's still old, 862. I don't know if we have another number, but the imbalances are coming out very, very soon. The imbalances, just so you guys know, have never really worked out for me on the show. So I do expect it to come a buy because I am short. So here we go. This is what we're talking about. Arun's had it up there for a bit. He did a great job talking about it. So maybe I'll, I don't know, I can throw it to you when they come out. Or you need cover on this or anything?
No.
Okay, so let's just wait to see here as the imbalances come out. I'll throw it over to Arun so I can watch out for my AMD trade. But right now we are in the money $1.40 on this name as it just continues its move to the downside. And looking at this, man, 83.40. That's that bottom. We'll see if that comes into play with only 25 seconds to go now. 83.40 bottom right now for AMD. We are $1.50 in the money, and our Philip Morris is just kind of cruising up 50 cents.
Altria is cruising. So it's cruising to the downside. Apple as well. Imbalance in about 10 seconds or so. Apple, I'm just waiting to see if I can get a positive imbalance on Apple. If I can, I'm out right away because I don't want to hold on to this. So we'll see what we get in about 2 seconds right now. Imbalances are slightly negative, it looks like. Not as aggressive, but slightly negative. Let's see what the largest one is. Vici, 6.86 million. To the sell side, MRO, Marathon, right, 2.7. You got SoFi, 1.5. Those three are all sales. The only buy that I'm seeing that's actually north of $1 million is going to be CHNG, 1.1 million on the NASDAQ. So that's it. Not much. Let's take a quick look at VICI, see what the imbalance, or see what the daily volume is, see if it makes a difference. VICI doing 6.86 on a 10 million day. Yeah, that's something to watch. Keep an eye on this one because that's about 60% of its volume already. MRO, we saw how oil went. So 2.7 million on a 22 million day, probably not that much. That's probably going to pair off, I think, by 355. So keep in mind, guys, the imbalances come out at 350, but at 355, you get the floor update, which tends to pair off a lot of these. So a lot of these shares that are unmatched, they will get matched by an opposing order at 355 because the floor has some interest in them. So you're probably going to see these names kind of just shed a little bit of weight here. Probably Marathon, SoFi, probably going to go. Vici, that's going to be an interesting one to watch just because of how large it is relative to its day, right? SoFi 1.5 with 27 million, that's not much. And then Rely, is that Reliance? No.
Rally, no, I think it's called, it's called Rally. No, it's Reliance Global Group.
Okay, so
Is
that's
that the
something.
Indian name?
That's not.
Okay, yeah, that's that dude.
Okay, so there you go. That's in the news as well, and that's got a sell side imbalance of 1 million shares.
Yeah, that's
so
strange.
That's going to be. Keep in mind though, it's done 1 million. It's only done 1.2 on the day, and it's got a 1.1 million, roughly a million shares to sell on the end of the day as well. So it's thin. It's going to be one to watch. So I'd keep an eye on VICI and RELY just because of how large they are relative to the volume they've done on the day. Especially Rely just because it's so thin. It's got about, 1,000 shares per level or so, maybe more, 2,000 shares or so per level. Half of it's probably not real, so I keep an eye on this one for sure.
All right, hold on a sec, check spelling on that. Okay, all right, so, we're still in AMD right now. I put my stop at this 83.75. It was just kind of the wick that we made there on that move. So, but look where we just bounced off of. Literally the bottom of the day there. It's not, the bottom, actually, I guess that is the bottom of the day since we opened up. 83.36. Can't believe we ran this stock all the way to the bottom. So good trade here for me today on AMD, down to 83.35 now. Downside move for Advanced Micro. So, so far so good on that one. 83.75, we're out. So if that, if we get out of that one, we get out of that one, and that's it for AMD. So it looks like it's about to click out right now. 83.75. I think we should get Fahad to ring the bell here today. Fahad. You're going to ring the bell. Yeah. All right, there it is. He's ready for it. We had a lot of Tony, man. Let's see Fahad. And the thing is that you're not going to be able to see his face. So that's why I think he's wearing the appropriate outfit here for that. All right, so there it is. Thanks, Fahad, for volunteering. On that one. All right, so Philip Morris, a nice little move to the upside. Thanks for volunteering. I crack myself up sometimes. 41, at least someone's laughing. 41.60 there, nice little move up for Philip Morris. So we can just get out of this one right now. 41.70 on the upside for Philip Morris. A nice little move there as the market is trying to go back to the Greensville. So we are out of everything, man. We could check back on our XOM. Looks like that was a decent out, although it does go down to 88.30. Good trading today on XOM with all these shorts coming into play for us. Short. Nice shorts up here on XOM as well. Thank you for watching today. It's been a big one. If you can, man, hit the like button. It's been tons of fun today here into the close, but we need at least 1,000 likes. Over 4,100 people watching. Let's see if we can get that going a little bit. We forgot to do the likes call earlier, so you really zoomed in on that, didn't you? Let's see where we go on that one. But thank you for the likes on that. And I'm just going to get up Philip Morris and end the day. Arun, thank you for showing up today.
Okay, imbalances. We were talking about imbalances on Apple. I remember I was like, okay, if it's a positive imbalance, I'll hold. If not, if it comes out negative, I'm going to dump it. Well, it was trading at about 135.10 or 15 or whatever. Imbalances came out. Here we are at 135.73. So positive imbalance on Apple. And here we are moving back towards 136. I'm going to use this to get out. So if we can start going up a little bit more, 355. Here comes the floor update. What do we got on VICI? I'm going to see if I can. There goes Apple to the upside. That should get me out soon. VICI is still there. 6.9 million shares to sell now. A little bit bigger than where we started off. Where's RELY? Rely, gone. No longer relevant. So Rely's gone. So couple oil names, Exxon, Halliburton. Then we got NEO up there as well, buy side, 2 million shares, but VICI, the big one here, at 6.8 or 6.9 million shares to sell as we go into the end. So I'll move my chart over onto VICI and see how this one's going to play towards the end of the day. It's come down a little bit. This is the 5-minute chart. Let's move to 1-minute chart. What do we got? What do we got? Yeah, it fell from 30. It fell for like 5 cents, but this is going to get interesting. Again, it's not a special day. It's not a rebalancing day. It's not a special add delete day. So you're not going to get unusual movement. So if this one holds, this is probably going to pair off towards the end. But this is the kind of stuff you're going to have to deal with when there's no special event related to individual names. So let's keep an eye on VICI and see how this one plays out, because it is getting some negative sell side pressure at the moment. But as we get closer to that 4 o'clock time frame, you might start to see this kind of slow down, and then it flips. And if it flips, this thing's going right back to 29.30. So keep an eye on this. Now you guys know what kind of pressure this a name like this can get if the imbalances are large enough. And here we are just watching it and see how far it wants to go while I go ahead and try to dump this Apple, because we got really close to getting me out and never got the fill. So I'm going to just walk away from this fairly soon.
5, 6, 7. We have 7 names on board, all positive today. It's worth a bang for me there. We were wondering about our Philip Morris trade. I said it again. People want you to like deal with me for saying that. I can't believe so many people are so upset calling MO Philip Morris, but it is Altria. We do end our day with a nice little trade on that name. We took this one again with you guys here right when we went on the air, down at 41.20. So a couple good bids here on MO Altria to the downside today, big time on news, of course, about Juul and I guess the FDA coming in and speaking up on that one. I'm not sure exactly what that news was. Brendan brought that to us, if it was a complete ban of that or not, but Philip Morris all the way to the downside. And the funny thing about this is we actually zoomed out when this happened, and you could see it was right here. If anything was a good short, it was like that 43 there, back in on that number. And look where we're sort of bouncing off of these early 2021 bottoms. So we'll see exactly. I don't know if I can recommend this for a swing long. I don't think so. If anything, it's probably a short, breaking through $40 tomorrow. Look at it collapsing here into the close. Our AMD, there's AMD out. Was a good out for us, it looks like there on AMD. Got out at 75 as it rips up to 84.05. Again, only 2 minutes to go. Thank you so much for all the likes, man. We're at 980. So we almost got to that 1,000. Much appreciated. A big day for us here today. We'll be back in the saddle tomorrow with Mr. Neil Roberts. So he'll be back here for another good day. Thank you again, Bears versus Bulls. I also have faith. We're at 993 now for the likes. So there it is, 1K. Thank you so much. We'll go awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Guys getting excited behind us, boy. Hopefully there's some nice trades happening there. Thank you so much, Corey Waters, as well. Shout out to you on the chat. Shout out to Tyrone Bigums for always being here as well. Shout out to Uzi for a membership. Shout out to Joshua. Anybody that we see, much respect. Bears versus Bulls for sure. Thank you. Thank you for Lionel Flores. Thank you so much for that as well. Bang with Ron Miller. What's up, Grinder? Hey, what's up, Grinder? Keep grinding as well. Shout out to everybody. All this. Red tomorrow, yes. So thanks to everybody there as well. I think red tomorrow is almost in the works. I mean, in the cards for tomorrow. You don't go positive with a big rally off the open like this, and then basically, look at these lower highs. Lower highs, well, that's kind of the same high, but then you started to make them into the close. We'll make another one right there off the 50 period. So yeah, I am a little nervous about what tomorrow does bring for us. So hey, we'll see where the NASDAQ winds up. We only have 20 more seconds. A quick look on the imbalances. I hear some people, XOM with a sell. Yeah. Wow, that XOM's short. Definitely paying out there. You can see where we had it. Big time movement down for oil right now. Verizon, DNA, they're all starting to pair off here. Zila as well with a big move back in to close the end of the day. Bombardier I just saw in there as well. Or no, not Bombardier. Yeah, BBBD down to the downside there. Neo with a buy as we're only 10 seconds away. Oh, there's the countdown. Let's go. We're going to be a little late on that. 9, 8, 7 with only 5 seconds left. There he is. You cannot see him. 3, 2, and 1. Is that Fahad? Is that Brendan?
That's Sting
is
right
that
there.
Neil or is that Sting? From WCW?
Or that too.
Who were you saying?
From the Addams Family, Thing.
Oh, Thing. Yeah, Thing. Yeah, that's better than Sting. Yeah, Thing. Thank you, Fahad, for ringing that bell to close out what was a pretty roller coaster day there, Brendo.
Indeed, but just trying to get Google to cooperate right now. It's not, again, but yeah, loading the board, loading. We need the Jeopardy theme song sometimes. I can tell you that the S&P guys did finish in negative territory. It was about 0.1% when all was said and done. Yeah, I'll continue to watch Google load, and yeah, it was one of those days.
Oh,
fade to black. All right, let's go over to me now, guys. People are going to think there's something wrong right now. Okay, so yeah, that was our market recap. You have it up. Why don't you throw that thing up on? Oh, it's working now. Okay, back to Brendan.
There we go. 0.1, as I was saying, for the S&P. It was ugly otherwise. Here in Toronto, TSX, a full percent to the downside. Oil, gold, metal stocks all get crushed. There was a big move down with the overall market there for Bitcoin and Ethereum, guys.
Fade to Black, an absolutely great album there. Metallica, shout out to you, Tyrone Bigums, in the chat again. Until next time, my friend, says Bradley Taylor. And yes, if you are part of the Day Trade the World Network, you can go ahead and trade at any other office as long as there is availability. And you can see behind us, we should be able to find a desk for you. So Bradley Taylor, figure that out, and you are welcome here. Then we'll have you on the show. If you're going to come in, trade here, you want to sit beside Brendan for a bit, guest trader of the day, Bradley Taylor, I invite you personally to that. So again, guys, thank you to everybody today. It's been an absolutely fantastic day. I want to give a big thank you to Fahad, big thank you to Maggie, Lucas over there. Thanks to Brandon for the watch list. Thanks to Trader Prad, Ian, Luca on the show as well in the midday. Katrina on sales, Liz on social media. The team is getting bigger and bigger around here. Thank you to Rob, Randy, Mark, everybody, Vitaly, Michael, everybody that's part of our team as well on the networking side of things. So hey, let's wrap this up. And of course, a big thank you to Arun. Any last words here? We'll see you next week, because I also am taking a day off next week, as it's my son's graduation as well. So you'll be back here next week.
Yeah, I'll be back on, I believe, Tuesday.
Tuesday it is.
And then I think the following week, the holiday shortened week, I think both of you guys are taking alternating days. So I should be in that week.
Yeah, I think
we'll double check that. But I should be in the next couple of weeks. I'll be in here and there. And then hopefully that's the end of that. And I can just take off from there at that point.
Great. Yeah, what a great show. I'm glad we finally got to ban Justin for once and for all on the show there. That was a great one. But thanks to Brendan. Thanks to everybody. And we will see you tomorrow. It's Trader TV Live, 8:30 a.m. We'll be back. Have a great evening, guys. See ya.